when it was Kemet, Black Egypt. It was a Nile Valley civilization. Black Egypt. It wasn't no Mediterranean culture. Like and subscribe. You gon' get tormented for 4 minutes if it's war. When it just said Jessaru got a false door in it. The Nubian flow, that's before Kemet. Masa Kim T got rubies and gold, and it's fit for a Kushite king. But what it look like, the green Sahara ring bearer, bring terror to your satellite kingdom, so they do not bother me. Scarification look like wavy line pottery. Kush with the black top pots, a rap top notch, and I could kick you till your laptop stops. I'm like Tahak and Shabaka, or Pianki, the author's a father. Any cocky, I came down the Nile through the lands of Kush, living a pre-dynastic pharaoh way and marrow way. Kerma, Khartoum, or Simna by the 5th cataract. Now I put the 5th wheel on the Cadillac. So much ride, a white man couldn't battle that though. They had to paddle back. Black Egypt. Black Egypt. Black Egypt. Gotta look and see where the Nile started. Black Egypt. And how it was easier to go downstream than upstream. And which way the river flowed. Don't look at the color, look at the culture. Black Egypt. What you know about Dynasty 00? Roll through with Shimsu, Heru on the standard. Ta-Nehisi, Sudanese G's. Try to test me, I'm an archer from Taseti. The squad ready, so I'm stepping in with the extra thin leopard skin. A tail on the apron with my crown on. You can crack jokes, but I ain't the one to clown on. Hey yo, Egypt was black, and that's a fact. All you little suckers need to step on back. They tried to throw us off, but we kept on track. We started doing research, but you slept on that. And with Kemet, it don't matter what the name mean. If it's a black culture, then that's the same thing. Race science is a lame thing. Ever since Nubian times, I let the chain swing. How the first known of Egypt was Taseti, but Taseti was Taseti already. Yep, it meant the land of the bow, and when Egyptians needed archers, this is where they would go to recruit them. I got arrows and I shoot them. Who them fake pharaohs? I uproot them and use Black Egypt. 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 I got a little new audio set up. Y'all gotta let me know if y'all can't get them too low or something. But we out here. What's up? Hold on, man. I can see my level is a little low. Let me hop on that. Mic check. Oh well, what's up with it? About to tap in with the people real quick. Like the video so we could get it popping. Let's go. Upper Egypt boy, got that white crown. Upper Egypt boy. Babylonian bars, you can really spit it, get it, dagger on me. That harpoon, it ain't for abalone. Phoenician pieces made of Nubian gold. Antediluvian scrolls hit the Nubian poles. And if you wanna debate that, you'll get truly exposed. I'm like the king of Axum, Axon. Bring the maxims of Patar back to action. I actually swing my axe, so Y-axis 32 degrees west on the Y-axis. Try and catch us. Christianity was stole from Kemet, lying. Compare the book of Psalms to Aminope. Sometimes I'm rhyming, I'm just like a shaman, okay?
Some sound alright, but then they act silly. Like conquering my crown, and that's really very silly. Like conquering my crown, and that's really very silly.
I'm a star charting Bantu boy with my bow and arrow. I raise a king in my gnome if I don't know the pharaoh. Explosive and lethal in your dreams like Joseph the Hebrew. And no sending evil wide jet and neck bent. Here to ward that off, I'm not a sage burner. Scroll learner, the page turner. The script writer, put the pen down cause I don't need it. Cause I got the white crown, the upper I rock Egypt. The white crown, say top Shimbu. You rock the red crown, say top Mehu.
You rock the white crown, say Tashimu. You rock the red crown, say Tamehu.
Some sound alright, but then they act silly. Try conquering my crown, and that's really very silly. Try conquering my crown, and that's really very silly.
I'm a C group, Magi Archer, from Ta-Nehisi. You conscious community pseudos never try to test me. As I'm in Rock Squad up. Religion, and when I'm on the mic, don't cut my wisdom, boy. I'm W.E.B. Du Bois. I'll smother you under the Sphinx, heed the voice. Ancestrally cooking up mean lyrics. Cats fighting cause they don't think the Dogon has seen serious. And DNA can't prove ethnicity. How you conscious? You say Pacific instead of specifically. You know my so raw, you get crushed. Think the force of a hippo jaw. I rock the white crown, say Tashimu. You rock the red crown, say Tamehu. You rock the white crown, say Tashimu. You rock the red crown, say Tamehu.
Some sound alright, but then they act silly. Try conquering my crown, and that's really very silly. Try conquering my crown, and that's really very silly. Some sound alright, but then they act silly. Try conquering my crown, really very silly. Try conquering my crown, and that's really very silly. My crown. Try conquering my crown, really very silly. My crown, and that's really very silly. Try conquering my crown, and that's really very silly. Try conquering my crown, and that's really very silly.
Alright, hold on. I think we might go and give it one more. Who cares? Just start and get chilling. How y'all doing? Let's give them I know that ain't how you spell it. Yeah. All right, we'll play one more joint. Then we're gonna get into it.
Gotta stand in praise. Hey yo, J. Ross and my man Casual. They ain't ready. Casual, where you been, man? I think it's time you let them know.
Jay, I'm working hard, and I'm not finna pause. Women, I get in your drawers, even in menopause. I never did the dinner dance, all the winter bars. I'm standing close to the edge, I'm finna fall. I catalog the styles I'm inventing. I got the pennant on, stripes, Benetton. The only rapper spitting Africa, Senegal. I take the scenic route, y'all too cynical. Hey, I've been in the Bay, and in the Bay you'll see infrared polka dots. Kwame smoking pot, provoking the Oakland cops. Give a fuck if you smoke or not, just live it up, give it up. But just don't switch or pivot up. Feed the babies, bib it up. Unlimited rhymes, genuine designs. You dudes act feminine, plus timid at times and dimming the mind. Hey Jay, just pause, we don't need a hook. If I just gas they ass, be a sweeter look. Rappers ain't saying shit, need to read a book. You caught up in the rapture, that's a neater hook. They can't stand it, grin or bear it either. Your niggas try shortstopping, Derek Jeter. I wear a heater whenever I need it. You're paraplegic, shot in the leg, hospital bed. Hey yo, fuck the sweets, put me in a hostel instead. If they don't offer him bread, it's off with his head. Most of these dudes will snitch, be in the coffin, he dead. I didn't know it was my gun like that officer said. They act hard in the streets, but they talking to feds. That's not my cup of tea, not my company. When it comes to me, nothing comes for free. You can run the streets, act dumb with freaks, but someone will receive what you ask bequeath. It's really all about what's up underneath. J. Ross got 1,700 beats, and that's just the ones for me. Come and see. Find a way, wouldn't waste time dissing you. The rhyme buffet is all you can listen to. You know what I mean? It's your boy, Smashrock Wellington, a.k.a. Ra'ertaan Ankaprua Minatema. I try never cock him. J. Raw's in the building, casual plays, but no. Now, no better respect game, I expect flames.
Right.
You know how I go down when we do this thing.
a slapper. Shout out to J. Ross. I like that album cover image. I think we're going to leave that up there for a minute. This album's called Respect Game or Expect Flames. Just like that. Respect Game or Expect Flames. So I'm trying my setup without no headphones because I'm really getting tired of rocking them headphones. So I got this pump. I can't have it going through my regular system because we get too much feedback. Oh, I'm glad you felt that song. Yeah, there's some nice blappers on this album. There's even some conscious music. There's a lot of, I put the Ankh on the album cover, so I had to put some conscious music on there. I think I released this in 2014. You heard me tell him it was Ra Ertaan Ankh Keperu Amenhotep Ma'achra Neb Hakakim. I was saying Neb Hakakim way back in the day. Kim being the final term like black, like in Kemet. What's up, brother Kansu? You could come on the chat right now. Come on the chat. Right now. Pull up on my block and do your thing. You could do that. I'll open up a chat for you. People gonna come in. You know what's gonna happen. You ain't gonna be ready. But I was about to do a little bit of an analysis on this term, on the term for place of slaughter. How'd I come up with my name? Casual, Smashrock, the Magi. I don't know what name you're talking about, but Casual, I was thinking of a rap name when I was younger. And it kind of fit me. The Magi is because I wanted people to learn more about the Nubians who were significant in Egypt. So what better for me to do than to say, okay, Magi archers. I didn't get to see the debate yet, but looking at the polls, I always thought that Chris Harris would win that. But I didn't even get to see the debate yet. So I didn't really have nothing I had nothing I wanted to build on, and specifically when I woke up today, I was wondering what was I about to study or whatever. I decided to look into the term for the place of slaughter in Medu Neter. Okay? Now, one thing, for sure, on this show, when somebody tell you something, at least when the Magi tell you something, it's going to be sourceable and academically astute. Meaning that you can't take my claim, you could take my claims to an Egyptologist and have a dialogue or a conversation. You take some of these people's claims, you won't get no dialogue. They'd be like, what are you talking about? And so, like I'm saying, this ain't even my claim. We looking right in the TLA. So let's just to fill people in on our last show, Brother Reggie brought forth an attestation where it said, first of all, people be stretching attestations. That's why I love to go back and look and read them. Because it really, it says something about the children of the enemy being in the place of slaughter. And then it said, what some scholars had translated as sacrifices of the Asiatics. But when we looked at the text, that those translations were stretched. Is even a footnote on that on that translation, and it's showing how different scholars say different things. And so I just wanted to go look and deal with learning about how ancient Egyptians used this term, the place of slaughter. Because some people are trying to equate this to more than like a meat factory or a slaughterhouse. And so we can also look over ancient Egyptian text and see how various times people are equated to like cattle. Excuse me, hold on. I'm trying to do something real quick. All right. Yeah, to see how people are often equated to cattle and whatever. But do me a favor. If you can, like the video, join the show, do what you can to get it popping, and we're going to get going. I ain't even tripping. Let me see. So let's deal with this term, and we always like to deal with this. You want to say Nemet? You can say Nemet for what they call the place of slaughter. NMT are the consonants. There are 26 attestations for this term in the text corpus. But sometimes when I analyze, I often like to look at the root, because we see this feminized T, which is really not indicating anything feminine here. The suffix T seems to be indicating a place. So if the feminized T indicated a place, the root NM must mean something about slaughter, right? If everything is going to be solid. So I know when we go, I'm just going over in my brain, but we'll see in a moment that when we go to the root of NM, we're going to get to something like a knife. Now this is what I want to show you. Notice here we have a knife over a, now this isn't your typical structure or mound or location, but we have a knife, mound indicating a, this is just, we could go pull up this glyph. But this pair of glyphs together seems to indicate cutting at a place. All right, now we could go in and go all the way in on those glyphs like we will do. You see this knife right here. Now you see NM with this N wavy line and this M with the bird. So I'm pretty sure that NM is just this knife. So now when we go to Google find NM, we're going to get a knife. So it's really why I like ancient Egypt too, because they use different objects for different things. So we're going to look at NM, constant combination, and we'll see which root are they attaching this T to get a place of slaughter. NM, a bird. NM, that's like some land or something. Let me see. They won't translate it. Here we go. So this is where we're at. A knife for butchering. Notice that it says for butchering. And this is one thing that one reason why I really like just the metal netter is tight like that. And what I mean is they use different objects. I was just saying it right before I got here. They use different objects for different things. Like a knife, like a butter knife is a butter knife. But a butchering, if you pick up your big, a machete is for other things, probably for whacking down trees and stuff, bushwhacking. You could use it for other things. But we have classifications for the type of utensils used in ancient Egypt. And as we examine the root, we're going to possibly see how this is going to be really, really related all the way, almost every attestation to cattle. Now, that's just what I propose from what I think I know. But let's see if an NM knife is ever used on a human. Now, look right here. NM, to rob or steal. Now, you know how they got that? If we know nim means a knife and you put great behind it, this ain't great. This is bad. So we got to know the differences between the two ers. This is a but this means bad here. So now you got a knife and you got bad. Probably a bad deed done with a knife. Here it is robbing and stealing. Just trip off that. We got the men with a knife, but we got a vessel, and they just saying it's a grain vessel for beverages. A winery. They are wondering why it's a wine. Is it a wine press? And how is this knife significant in this term? We ain't doing the analysis yet. We're just looking over various different dictionary at the state. Now here we got our term, the men for the place of slaughter, and we see it's rooted on the NM consonants for a knife. So first, to be exhaustively thorough, we'll examine the uses of this knife and see why they put for butchering in parentheses. Luckily, there's only 11 attestations to the use of this knife. And the short reference for this definition is the coffin text. All right. A lot of information we pick up just from a quick analysis. You could beat people up. That's how I'd be like, what? That's from coffin text. What is you talking about? See, it's from a dictionary of the coffin text because sometimes we have different terms and uses in different places. So let's see if this is consistent that we find this. Let's see where we find this term 11 attestations used and how this knife is used since the old pyramid of Unes, right? So this is in the pyramid of Unes. So it would have started as pyramid text and gone out to be coffin text. This is the black and multicolored knife on the other hand that went out. All right. Now, if you know anything about this black knife from the pyramid of Unes, it's a good thing. Let's go read about it. This black knife, I think, is going to cut the snake. But let's go and see. Because this is an NM. And so they say it's for butchering. So let's see how they came to that. The face fell on a face. A black and multicolored knife, on the other hand, went out. It has swallowed for itself the one it has seized. Okay. Hard to make anything out of that. But we just tripping off the NM. The NM was the knife used in the Pyramid of Pepi. Here's the same attestation from Teti and from Teti. Osiris Pepi, I brought you the one who killed you, cut up, and after the knife was used against him. Okay, let's go in and read that. What's up with it? Hold on 1 second. All right, excuse me. And so we're reading from the Pyramid of Pepi, Pyramid Text 545. Speak words. Osiris, well, this is words spoken, Jed Medu, a recitation. Osiris Pepi, I brought you the one who killed you. So somebody killed Pepi, and somebody brought, this spell is to to get at that person, I guess. I brought you the one who killed you, cut up and after the knife was used against him. They say literally his knife was made. So let's go look at this. So this is basically some spell against some person who did harm to the deceased, because this is probably originated around the time with Pepe, but we know these are recitations where this knife, they say, is used, cut up after the knife was used against him. Let's read that, man. Now, here we go again, because we got the sama word, to slay, right? Now, sama is really used here, so they translate the sama as cut up. So but who got cut up? Like, they saying they brought you the person who killed you. For you, NK, to bring for you, this to bring for you, to cut you, that cut you, that slayed you. Okay. It's like this to bring to you for him that slayed you. Because this ku is like another, look, this is just a different you, right? See? So that ku is a different you. It is a independent pronoun that is not in suffix to this term. Nevertheless, it means you. So to slay you, not to slay you, because you already dead. To cut off, that's the sa now. Sa is they saying to cut off. Ari, to make ready the knife. Oh, we definitely got to look at this term too. There's only two attestations. So they say Ari nim is to make ready the knife. Ari is like to create. So that's like to make a knife. It's like making a shank. It's like to make, they just put ready in parentheses, but it's literally to make a knife. All right, to make a knife for him. So they translated, Osiris Pepe, I brought you the one who killed you, cut up and after the knife was used against him, is what they translated. All we're trying to analyze is how this knife is used. And if this is, they say, okay, they cut up somebody who did something against Pepe. Now, I don't want you to act like this is real life or nothing, because people will be like, see. Nah, everybody know that this is just like some type of spell for protection. And how do we know that? Because it starts with this. So it's a recitation or an incantation. Word says something to be recited. It's not actually something that happened or something. But it's good to look at things like this. Let me see. So they copy this text over and over. Osiris Merin-Ra is the same text. They got a skewer, 2 portions of fresh bread, 1 Egyptian goose, and 1 knife. We could probably presume why they had the knife. They said 2 times water, 2 servings of Jesheret bread, 1 times, 1 knife, 1 thigh, and 1 times awa meat. Here, Neith copies over the same text from Pepe from earlier. A black multicolored and fur knife went out on you and swallowed you for itself. I don't understand some of these translations, but we need to see what them. So now I'm getting more, because I know these attestations and I know this knife now. You see what I'm saying? So we want to see exactly what they mean by butchering, because I had not seen, all I've seen it is mythically. So what I mean is that all of these pyramids so far, probably not with the dwarf. Yep, even with the dwarf of Seneb, is on the false door of the inner jam. All right, let me see. Let's go look, because it's site. Let me see. Let's look at this. Let's look at this text, because it says list of victims, but they don't got the text. You can't click on the text. What's up with it? Hold on. Oh. Thank you. All right. So I would love to look into this attestation, but you can't click into this text. The master bar of the dwarf Seneb on his false door. They say they got 2 times water, 2 servings of just red beer, 1 times, and then remember 1 thigh and 1 piece of meat. Somebody said, "Oh, that's a human thigh." Hold on. It says the black multicolored knife. They keep now. Here we go. Because they're talking about prisoners here, okay? Number of prisoners, male and female, brought from these foreign countries, 1,554. Now they brought bronze and wood. They brought 10 axes. They brought 33 sickles and 12 knives. Is that the one? Well, 12 daggers. So this is just a list of inventory. They're not putting the knife to nobody so far, as I'm seeing. Somebody said, Chris, watch Captain Tazaria. So they keep copying this first text over with a knife devoured for itself the one it cost. Whatever that means. There it go again. There it go again. So I'm just skipping it. So let me see. This is the same text, and then we got that same. Did this page repeat? Is that the end of the attestation? Because these are all the same. They go the numbers of prisoners. So maybe it's not used that much. Yeah, we keep repeating now. Number of prisoners. All right, so I guess I'm gonna click last. Yeah, so that's the last. I didn't learn much from that. All I've seen as far as when I seen them using this knife, just in them, it was only 11 attestations, and all of them were kind of like in the afterlife or whatever, or upon something that's dead, unless they say, okay, we're going to bring you the person who killed you to your pyramid and do something to him. I mean, we could keep on proposing things along those lines, but I want to finally see what the text say. That, you know what I'm saying, instead of us proposing it. So now we're looking at the place of slaughter. And what we probably going to see is always related to these type of offerings are the slaughter of cattle. All right. So we at that place of slaughter that we so-called found the Asiatic children in that attestation from Saint Rosette. The barbecue small. Your ribs come from the house of the slaughterhouse. Your bread from the hall. Okay? So they're not talking about Unez's ribs. All right? They're talking about his offering. And if you want to go in there, they was even talking about the barbecue. But you'll see here when they talking about his bread and thousands of beer. But people will try to take this and say, look, they had his ribs, so they slaughtered him. All right, the God was provided with the sacrifice of God. Unez was provided with the bread of his. All right, so we still talking about this daily bread and this Hotep Neter being an offering to the nature that is, don't misread it as a sacrifice like somebody got killed. It's an offering to the deity, even though we know an offering is still a sacrifice, but y'all saying a sacrifice is a dead person. No, that sacrifice could be just something you're going without. All right, like an offering of bread. As we see, it says bread here. Okay? Slaughter out of the slaughter. Your RTH, bread from the hall. And it says bread again here. So let's not be creative. May you prosper the slaughterhouse of Teti. So let's go back and look at this. They want the slaughterhouse of Teti to prosper. So you think they wanted to kill heck of people? Or let's see if this is related to food. See, I don't even have to go that far. Every time I get here, everything I see is say the words I needed to see. Look, the eyes of Horus waters on the Denu bush. You 2 horses at the head of the house is Lord of the food. Okay? So that's what they're addressing here. Lord of the food, great one in Heliopolis, may you give bread to Teddy. May you give Teddy beer. May you make Teddy thrive. May you make the sacrificial table of Teddy prosper. That's it. That sacrificial table, I don't know why they didn't put the Hotep. They got a different one. So now, see, this offer stand. So, okay, the offering stand, the altar, where you place the Hotep goods are your offerings. Let's see if they say something about people on it. If Teddy hungers, that's what I'm talking about. So that altar table is about vits, bro. Nice victuals, offerings of food, like I said. And the next line behind the slaughterhouse ain't about your soul getting some power from killing something. It's about being hungry. If Teddy hungers, Ruti hungers. If Teddy thirsts, Nekbet thirst. So I don't even have to trip. We already know what the connotation of that slaughterhouse is. Let's see if we'll find it outside of that connotation. Thou shalt eat a thigh, feed thyself with haunch, and snatch ribs from Horus, slaughterhouse. So that's feeding yourself with the food of the cattle from the slaughterhouse. And so they used to like ribs, giving ribs from Osiris's slaughterhouse. They was big on the thighs and them ribs. They talking about thighs and ribs. The forehead of the jackal, the hindquarters of a falcon, the mace from the slaughter of Osiris, and the 2 ribs from the slaughter of Seth. Seth being a pig, so them gonna be pork ribs, but you gotta know about that. Tell me where we going off when we're looking at how they're using this place of slaughter. Your 2 flatbreads are from the broad hall, and your 2 ribeyes are from the slaughterhouse. Man, that's such a checkmate. They was pulling out ribeye steaks, family. So we are clear that don't misinterpret this slaughterhouse. So far, there's no attestation that we've seen to where the slaughterhouse is used to kill a human. They bringing out steaks, bro. 2 ribeyes to go with the flatbread. So first of all, yeah, they ate red meat. I can show you 2 rib eyes in the Medu Neter on the wall in the Pyramid of Pepi. Pyramid text 460. You think these ain't rib eyes? Let's look at what they really are. Where would they be? About here, one of these 2 terms. That's the broad hall. Rib joints as food. Rib eyes, bro. Get you some rib eye steak from the slaughterhouse. Here go 2 rib eyes for you coming from Kenti Amentiyu slaughterhouse, according to your attributes to one of the possessors of your provisions. 2 ribs from the house of slaughter. So what I see here happening is, and then they say something about the grill. The grill clean? Get out of here. That's grill clean. All right. Your head has been set upon your shoulders so that you may drink the waters of the flood that are in the channel of the sinew banks, of the knife channel, and the mace from the slaughter of the horse, and the ribs from the slaughter of the horse receiving thought. Now they just getting metaphysical on us, but we still understand that when they talk, see, they're not saying the slaughterhouse here. So, but this ain't even fitting into what we analyzing. When they up into the metaphysics, talking about deities and stuff, you can never act like that got nothing to do with humans. Like, and this is the same repeat attestation. Slaughtering Seth, the slaughter of Seth. So let's go over. They feminized it for no grammatical reason, but it is it is the term for the slaughter, the place of slaughter, but they're just using it here to say the slaughter of Seth, which I'm taking they send the 2 ribs from the slaughter of Seth. We know Sutek to take the form of a black pig, but they didn't eat pig. So this just got to be some metaphysical or some, pertaining to the deities and stuff. We looking to pertaining to people, humans, and real life things. And so that's the same attestation said over. And again, we just analyzing the place of slaughter and how it is used when they say place of slaughter. This is the same attestation. And this is the same attestation written differently. Look, from the pyramid of Neith to the gods of the decree that sit you down on your something bread. What does this say? The forehead of the jack. It's close, but it's still choose a thigh from the great slaughterhouse, all right? And then go get some ribs from Osiris's slaughterhouse and be given ribs from Osiris's slaughterhouse. So you about to be eating good. All right. No, that's not eating good. Well, let's go back. They already put it with the bread. We already looked and seen, bro. The 9th decree to sit down in the bread, choose the thighs from the great slaughter and given the ribs of Osiris from the slaughterhouse. Let's keep going. Because I know how weird brains is going, so you go into the text to prove it. How beautiful you see, how gratifying to hear that Osiris arises, comes from the mouth of the gods of the grave, Neith. It says, the ones with the broken heart and the hidden places open the gate of heavens for you, and the opening the gate of the water in the regions of the heaven. He will prepare the way for you to come forth upon him with the gods living as your Ba. Oh, Neith, you didn't really die. You really revived along with them, the immortal ox. The time of the flood is coming. The discharge that is coming forth from Osiris is disappearing. I don't want to have to read the whole thing because it'll probably be taking 30 pages. So let me try to just get right to it. All right, look. May you sit in your great seat. Your bread is Tawar bread, the great bread of the land. Your bread comes from the hall. Told you they talking about eating. Let's get the guard dance for you and call out like Osiris. Rise up, knees, for your bones have been joined and conceived your head. The 9th decree. Okay, so now you can say whatever this is. Because now they saying, look, now you can say, okay, this could not be about eating because they say, rise up, knees, for your bones have been joined and you have conceived your head. The 9th decree that you sit down to your bread, ta'ar bread, choose. Yeah, this is still eating. The 9th decree is that you sit down. So this don't really got nothing. He just is erect so that he can. This is what I'm presuming, that he's erect so that he can eat. You have conceived your head. The 9th decree that you sit down to your ta'ar bread. Choose a thigh from the great slaughterhouse and be given the ribs of Osiris in the slaughterhouse. O Neith, rise up like men and fly in the sky, give together with them. So you tell me this, because look, I don't know what's happening. Someone can say this is the process of reconstructing the body in the afterlife, or this is clearly him eating from the slaughterhouse. But I will be willing to listen to somebody expound on either of those options. I clearly see those options could be there for someone to come with a proposal like, no, that one is not about, but he's talking about his bread and eating the bread of the land. And so I'm just looking at that. None of these is going to saying nothing about sacrificing nobody though. Snatching ribs from the slaughterhouse. Whatever that might mean, may you make his slaughterhouse prosper. We looked at that already. Slaughter of Osiris, the 2 ribs. So we keep on seeing this being significant. Here we go. Rise up, your thousands of bread, your thousands of beer, your thousands of beef, your thousands of fowl, barbecue and ribs from the God's slaughterhouse. Barbecue, bruh. Y'all thought I made that up? So let me remember the word for barbecue. Because whenever y'all come with this nonsense, I'm whipping out the word for barbecue. Roasted joints. Thank you. Checkmate. So them joints is not to reconstruct the body. I knew that would be far out, but I said grill cline. I thought grill cline mean a clean grill, but that's a roasted joint. So that literally is what they translated to barbecue, and the term is asheret. So now that we got the word barbecue, checkmating those who didn't want me to see things the way I see them. Barbecue and the ribs go together from the God slaughterhouse. Now we getting a clear use of, now here go the slaughterhouse one. Then now here's the use that they try to exploit. So now we got to keep it in context of what we were seeing. His and her slaughterhouse was full, and it consisted of the enemy's children. The sacrificed cattle consist of Asiatics. See, this is why we're trying to figure this out. So are we saying, we'll come back to this, but notice this is the one that they're saying, aha, now they're slaughtering people. But we read through this attestation and nothing ever happened to these people. And it don't even say was full. When we go over here, it says, and we can click every term, this is the term we're scrutinizing, place of slaughter, suffix with her. So her place of slaughter, of, or by, or is in, as, like, look, as is a predicate, predicated by, or whatever. Now we got a child. Her place of slaughter by the children of the enemy. So they saying the children of the enemy is in the place of slaughter, but where does it say it's full or something? And then it say daily offerings are what endures, meaning daily offerings. It says what endures are the Asiatics. So if it was to endure, it means it survives, but I don't understand this. But this is what we're trying to understand by getting further scrutiny on the place of slaughter. So let's not stop. Because look, spell not to enter the place of execution is how they translated this in the necropolis. Now let's go look. This is a next use of, but this is a snake magic spell, right? Let's go look at this. So they translate, now the scholars translated NMT, our word of scrutiny, as the place of execution here. So let's look at this text and see how they justified that. And this is supposed to be a spell not to enter it. A spell not to enter the place of execution in the necropolis. So supposedly by them there is a NMT in the Chetnater, or what the Chetnater, what they call the necropolis. Speak the title of, if I recite, then the night is behind me in heaven, and the earth is guarded daily by Ra. On the day of cutting of the, all right, let's go see how they cut this hairstyle. So look, on the day of cutting off the morning hairstyle, he ties the knot in front of his thighs against the weary. All right, we can understand all that, because we understand shaving your hair and all of these things. But I just wanted to note that this cutting right here is not happening with that NM knife. It says the knot is tied behind me by Seth, for the knife was in his power at the beginning when the rebellion had not yet arisen. May you keep me safe from this one who killed me, who killed my father. Okay. I wanna note this attestation right here. May you keep me safe from the one who killed my father. Let me see, where's this said? This is in the snake charms. It's because I said that we had some issue with people, with the last king, when his father got killed. They might do away with their people, but I just found something that said somebody want to be safe from the ones who killed their father. I am the one who took hold of the two lands. The knot is tied by noon, who the first time before the God came into being, and when men, I am Penti. I am the heir of the great gods. They ain't got to that part yet. Well, I didn't get nothing from that right there. I didn't see exactly where. Let's go back to the attestation. Oh, you're supposed to be a spell not to enter the place. So there you go. Again, this is supposed to be the place of slaughter. Let's see how they changed it up. So look, I saved a man from the gate at the place of slaughter. Let's go look at that. This is real life. This ain't metaphysical. A stela of Amenemhat. Let's see what he's saying. 12 years under his majesty from the king of Upper and Lower Egypt, Nebuchadnezzar. Amenemhat II, who lives forever and ever. His true and trusted servant, who does what he praises in the course of every day, overseer of the horn, hoof, feather, and scale, overseer of the small cattle in the entire land. Amenemhat, son of Antef, son of Kimsi, says, I was a father to the orphan, husband to the widow, and the windbreak for the cold one. All right, now I see what he's saying. I gave bread to the hungry, and I clothed the naked. I saved a man from the gates of the place of slaughter. So let's stop. If he's taking credit from saving a man from the gates of the place of slaughter, then if he wouldn't have saved this man, then the man would have got killed there. I saved a man from the gate of the place of slaughter. Let's read. Yeah, they always got a footnote there because they analyzing what we mean. So they want to be to the door, the spell, the verdict, meaning the latter. They trying to figure that out. Son of Kimsi, yeah, Kimsi is the black woman, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to be I spoke on behalf of a man without him knowing it. I'm not tripping. He's citing his good deeds, but in citing his good deeds, it says, I saved a man from the gate of the place of slaughter. So what was going to happen if he didn't save a man from the gate at the place of slaughter? You feel me? Oh, see, hold on though. All right, no, that's right. That's good, yeah. That's good. We got Nahem, which means to take away, to rescue, literally. All right, Za is a man. So if you rescuing a man from a place of slaughter, then he was going to get slaughtered there. Now, why would you rescue him and you saying that that's a good deed if, you see what I'm saying? If, all I'm saying is, look, this is how my brain works. If he trying to save a man from the gate of the place of slaughter, then the man was going to be slaughtered there. We don't understand why, and why is you saving him? I don't get it. But this is a strong one. This is from the Stela of Amenemhat. I would ask myself, like I am now, I saved a man from the gate of the place of slaughter. I spoke on behalf of a man without knowing him. I did not discredit a man to his superiors. There were no dead ones under my command. I ain't willing to stretch that to metaphor. I'm willing to say he's trying to say he didn't really do this stuff, but he's saying like, it's like, but I'm not stretching this to the realm of metaphor. In his schemata, people should understand that if he saved a man from the gate of the place of slaughter, then apparently that man, if he didn't save him, was going to be slaughtered there. That's what I see. I saved a man from the gate. So we're going to remember that and come back to that. Stella of Amenemhat. All right. It says, NN has not fallen to the spoils of the devourer in the place of him who reaches forward, who is around the slaughterhouse in the slaughtering of Sodep. Okay? So Depu is like, that's like, I thought that was a deity. Okay, that's a deity. So we'd have to look into that too. How's this going down? This the slaughter of in the slaughterhouse, excuse me. So they're switching from slaughter to slaughterhouse. So this is the slaughterhouse, or the plates of slaughter of Sapdu. Look, if you got a spell to avoid getting into the slaughterhouse of the god, then what happened if you didn't know that spell and you got into the slaughterhouse of the god? You got slaughtered. I'm just looking. You feel me? So they cut off the mourner's hairstyle. I'm sorry, I didn't read that out loud. I was tripping. It says back of my head is tied to me in the heavens and in what belongs to earth grave by Ra, who instituted giving the day of tying the knot for those whose weary sit on their thighs, that day of cutting off the mourning hairstyle. So what happened when you cut off the mourning hairstyle? You ain't mourning no more? Save yourself from the one who killed my father. That's the end of the text. Well, where's the, here it go. It was just in the beginning. So I wouldn't accept that because that's just too much conjecture. We got a strong one that it's hard to fight. You have to ask all logical minds to reckon with that. I saved a man from the gates of the place of slaughter. All right, spell to avoid getting into the, yeah, that's not it. It says, oh, blood eater who comes, oh, yeah, that means you a meat eater because they're saying slaughtering the God's ox. I got that. I will not be taken to the God's place of judgment. Okay, look. Why did they change this to God's place of judgment? It's the same term. Let's go back up. This is what I want to see. That don't make no sense now. Unless everybody wasn't rocking with that deity. It makes sense. Just feel this. We go back up, it says, I saved a man from the place of slaughter, right? It says, oh, okay, but this one down here says, look, Nemet Neter, the divine place of slaughter. So they say slaughterhouse of the god. Spell to avoid getting into the slaughterhouse of the god. What say you about that? Oh, we read that one. No, we read that one. That's not it. Let's keep going. It's this one. Sorry. Nemet Neter. Okay, here we go. It's not really there on the wall. I'm messing with them, but look. When you got these parentheticals, which are colons or whatever, I mean, I don't know what they are. I forgot. Columns, whatever. I forgot what to say. It's not really there on the wall. All right. This is there on the wall, and they're translating it as the slaughterhouse of God. I'm kind of seeing things weighing strong in that maybe that some occurrences, look, you can't, this is hard. Look, this ain't fake. This ain't in the afterlife. This is someone saying on his stela the good things that he did while he was alive. And he didn't really have to do this, y'all. Like, don't think he really did that. But for him to boast of it, it would mean that he trying to get credit for something that the people would know is a good thing. I saved a man from the gate of the place of slaughter. So that's like one of the strongest things that will make my brain say, there's evidence there that something was going on. You saved a man. There you have it. Spelled to avoid getting into the slaughterhouse of the God. This is not as strong. As for the reasons that we noted. Or somebody abhorrent is entering the slaughterhouse of God. All right. The slaughterhouse. All right, so equip the slaughterhouse, you know. What I know about this is going to be a different translation of one of these up here. Spelled to avoid getting into it, and my abhorrence from the New Kingdom. They say boot, poo, and they say in Tim Ak. A little different, but it's kind of like the same thing. My abomination is, I want to read this. My abomination. This it says is from Amenhotep II. Oh, excuse me. Spell to prevent that the heart of the Nisud is justified. It's stolen from him in the realm of the dead. He says, "O lion, I am the blossom. My abomination is in the slaughterhouse of God." It says, "The heart of mine should not be stolen from me by the fight in Heliopolis." Yeah, see, this ain't going with what we talking about. But what is he talking about? My abomination. So they whatever his abomination, what he don't like, his dislikes is being, look, who slays the snares around the evildoers at his slaughterhouse, which cuts his boss. I don't even need to see these other ones if they're not going to be as strong as that one from the Stella of Amenemhat. Because that Stella of Amenemhat seems to give me something. Somebody said they saved somebody from the slaughterhouse. What that mean? You tell me. So he ain't getting into their slaughterhouses. This is in Thieves. Look, let's see what this says. So again, this ain't gonna work. It says beginning of elevations and memories of coming out and re-entering the realm of the dead. We don't want it in the realm of the dead. It's too easy to discredit. You can't talk about slaughtering people in the realm of the dead. We have to find it in real life, as we found it appears on that one stela. I have not slaughtered a god's ox. Look, I wasn't kidnapped to the slaughterhouse of the god. That don't make no sense. And then look at this. Guess who this is? This is a bomb. You know what? This is about to be this is about to be crazy. This is in the Book of the Dead of Mahepri. So now we could go back and look at this. Kidnapped. Come on, dog. Cut that out. They dumb for saying that. Look. To take, to seize. I wasn't taken to, but let's go look at this. I want to go look. Why I think I want to go look at this. This is tight. This is strong. Mahepri said he wasn't taken to the slaughterhouse of the god. So who was taken there? But this something different is going on. Let's be fair that I think that this evidence showed that some occurrence, whatever happened at the slaughterhouse, men and women wasn't immune from it. You could get slaughtered at the slaughterhouse, executed at the slaughterhouse, because people is saving that. But y'all, oh, I forgot. Some people want to see sacrifice and they confused right now. See, my brain is on point. Hold on. My brain on point. Oh, you confused? We ain't seen no sacrifice here nowhere. Don't mess it up. We looking at the place of slaughter, what they call it the place of execution. Remember? And now we qualify with primary text that men can be, it appears, if you don't want to be stubborn-minded, that a man was saved from being there. And here we have Mahepri saying he wasn't seized or taken or kidnapped to the slaughterhouse. But this is what I'm assuming. Not assuming, but this is what I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm assuming it. Is this in Mahepri's attestations of what he had not done wrong? Because if it is, we gotta just open up a big can of worms. First sight from the so this now we reading Mahepri. See how the brothers will come back and speak from years. Unveil your headscarf at my approach. I don't even want to just read everything. May he join my bones. May he strengthen my limbs. May bring the Lord of the heavens. Bring me I, the Lord of the heavens. May he ride my bones. May he strengthen my limbs altogether. May he steady my head. Strengthen your spine. All right. Man, I ain't about to, y'all can see it on the screen. When it gets significant, I'm going to read it because it's readership. See, that ain't had nothing to do with what we looking for. So they're going to make me read the whole text? No, I clicked the wrong button. I clicked entire text. I need to click co-text. And it should take me to the page that's on. Let me go over here. There we go. Now look. Let's go right here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at this. I am your hair, like some bird. Huron, whatever. That is over the water district of Giris. I brought Atum the share of the earth. Those who are headlong, the crew, my terror is caused to those above the sanctuaries. My reputation is due to the gentleman about mummy bandages. What? Man, we need to retranslate that. It don't make no sense. My reputation is due to the gentleman about mummy bandages. Cut it out. So I exist. This Ayu is like I exist. They're saying it's an auxiliary, but I'm going to say this is I exist, right? Arti is like to give. So to cause, to allow. I exist to allow, to give. Self, let's see what this is. Respect. I exist to give respect to that makes sense. I'm currently giving respect to what? Affairs or requires conditions. So he's giving respect to the conditions of the land. See what I'm saying? This makes a lot more sense. I'm currently giving respect to the conditions of the land in what? Amenta. In Amenta you. Atum, or the land of Atum, excuse me. So that make way more sense. I'm currently giving, come on, what did they say it mean? I brought Atum to share the earth. Oh, I'm sorry, I did the wrong one, huh? I brought Atum to share the earth. Yeah, that make work. That makes sense. We were supposed to be looking over this. My representation is due to the gentleman about the mummy bandages. This is the same IU. So what happened? How did that happen? That is right. Look. Huh? Nah, man. My reputation is due to the gentleman. Man, this is like my respect. He's saying I respect. I give my respect. He give to the Lord, or the Lord of the bandages. The Lord of the band, but that's not, they messed that up. He's just saying he's giving his respect to whoever did the mummy bandages. Not my reputation is due to the gentleman about mummy bandages. All right, I was not kidnapped to the slaughterhouse of God. I still think that's strong coming from Mount Hepri. That metal netter do say that. All right, it said what they wanted to do with me has not been accomplished. So this is what I'm trying to say. If my Hepri was an upright Egyptian, who was kidnapping fools to the slaughterhouse of the God? See? And he said, what they wanted to do with me has not been accomplished. I'm the leader of the North Horizon, the ninth, the one who looks at the one he will catch to recite. This is a new recitation. So this is going to start a new section of text that don't got nothing to do with this. I wasn't kidnapped to the slaughterhouse of the God. That means somebody was. I'm willing to look and see what this is all about, but hey, no, hell no. Somebody got kidnapped then, if he said he wasn't. But look at the nature of the statement. I got to get my real analytical on right now. Because I'm confused about this. What we're reading is Mahepri's papyri, where he's talking about, they talk about how raw they was, as you see how he's saying. So what is this, a punishment that he never was punished with? But then why would he say what they wanted to do with me has not been accomplished? To where this doing would not be considered a good doing. I don't know, but I ain't going that far. You know what I'm saying? I just know that place of slaughter, a person could be put down there. Okay? Now let's look at to see that place of slaughter ever being related to like sacrifices. That's all you got to do. Because to me, like in this chess game, we found out that I found out, y'all led me to a path by showing me that Simrosette Stella where there was people there, but nobody had pointed to the text like this that we need in order to make our decisions. You see what I'm saying? To order to make sure you on the side of right knowledge. I wasn't kidnapped to the slaughterhouse of the God. My Hepri saying that. So what happened there? People got executed. So this ain't happening right. This translation still ain't right. Let's say I wasn't kidnapped to the execution place, but we got to find sacrifice. So what we're going to do is, what I'm going to do is, and then this will end the game. When you start to search this location, and Reggie should be able to do this. Reggie, do this. Search this location, the slaughterhouse, with sacrifice, not Hotep, because that's going to mess it up. Because we're going to have too much food coming from there. See, we got too much food coming from the other attestations. The majority of attestations, they talking about getting food and meat and stuff from the slaughterhouse. Right here, somebody say they wasn't kidnapped to it. All right? You see what I mean? And so we have to find sacrifice with the slaughterhouse. And then we did a lot of work. And you can't even find this work in these scholars. In these scholars that we be reading their work. We could do that right now with the TLI. Shout out to the supporters in the chat. I see some of y'all out there. So we found two very good ones. Oh, I do got t-shirts for sale. Hell yeah. Thanks for being willing to support. Let me see. I'm going to share this link. I got more than t-shirts for sale for my people. Nah, it's really ain't saying. They just did a bad translation, son child. It was more or less, it's a divine place of slaughter. Like there are, and so that means something. But when we look at that divine place of savor, Elijah got a good one. Yeah, that man saved. He just didn't get to go to the barbecue. Huh? That's what somebody gonna say. But nah, I wouldn't say nothing silly like that. For the person who asked for my shirts, if you click that link I just provided, you'll find lots of tangible ways to support this research. You feel me? With the Magi t-shirt right there, $20, no big deal. Out there, rock that thing. Then you could get your Magi champion pullover. You know, we having these big rains in California right now. Let me close this and get back on it. Then I'm about to open the Zoom just for the chill. I ain't tripping. Get my quiet little study on. Yeah, okay, so what that seems to show to me that, first of all, we definitely have proven that a human could lose his life at the place of slaughter. That ain't relegated to animals. Shout out to the Black Raven. Yeah, we have definitely proven that a human could lose their life at the place of slaughter. And so now we want to see, is that just relegated to executions, wrongdoings? I seen something saying something about kidnap. I don't understand that. But I would like to see what people say about that. Shout out to the Black Raven for the contribution. A steady contributor to the channel. One of the people who keep me motivated to do this thing. Peace to the Black Raven. There we go. I just put up a link if anybody want to build or discuss any of the things we've seen. I need to test out my new audio system because I need the Zoom audio to come through the TV now. Let me see. See if that'll work. Mic check 1, 2. Click the link if y'all want to build. If not, we're gonna go do whatever we do. Oh, sorry, Sadiq. Yeah, I did take that video down. But I can show you anything from the video, or we could discuss any of that type of stuff. You know why, bro? Because this is one thing why. I love disseminating that information, right? But when I do those type of videos, YouTube start categorizing my page. And then they start sharing me with the credit repair pages and stuff instead of the instead of the knowledge pages and stuff. And I don't want to hit the algorithm so hard to where they start lumping me in with that type of content. I more or less try to address it just from, peer-to-peer discussion. Peace to Truth, how you doing?
What's going on, bro? What's going on? How you doing?
I can't complain. Just trying to get to some truth. What's up with it?
Yeah, I just tuned in. I was over there watching Garfield, and then I might have to stop watching that, man. They still arguing about the same thing.
Oh, shout out to Garfield. Yeah, I seen he was streaming, and I kind of was like, yeah, I know everybody over there. But when they get bored, they could come over here. So thanks for coming.
But yo, you know how you kill that whole argument? First off, yes, it was influence from Kemet, but as far as the story of Christ, it comes from the Jewish tradition directly. It was somebody called the first Messiah, the teacher of righteousness, and that's where all that comes from.
Oh, what you mean? So what's your stance? Your stance is that Egypt didn't influence Christianity?
No. Egypt definitely influenced portions of it, just like Buddhism, just like what's the Z one? Zoroaster, I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, you said Zoroastrianism or whatever.
Yeah. All those different religions do have an influence in the Bible, but it's an actual prototype person that they actually get the biblical story from. That actually existed. That actually still to this day has 28 first-person writings in the Dead Sea Scrolls, 28 of them. That you actually the actual prophet is actually writing in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And this is where all the information comes from. He's called the first Messiah.
But for my man Sadiq, I'm willing to share that information on the drop of a dime. There's nothing secret about us learning how to, do this stuff in business or whatever you want to build on. Specifically, we could build whatever. But I just want to say that for my man in the chat. But back to that, yeah. I mean, arguing against the influence is crazy. A lot of people don't do that. In academia, they're clear to show how Christianity was influenced by ancient traditions, and they don't necessarily exclude Egypt. It's not saying they got everything from Egypt, but the ones people who are excluding it are the modern day Christian apologists who want to have some footing in this modern, debate that's going on about ancient religions. And so this isn't new. Mounting arguments against the polemic mounted against Christianity or Hebrewism has started. That went way back to Josephus and stuff, because they took Manetho's work as negative arguments against their tradition, and so they instantly start hopping on this apologetic stuff before Christianity had even started. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, to be a Christian apologist then became just the way to be these type of defenders of the tradition. And so now, since we got new conversations going on, just like people from the Islamic tradition started coming up with stuff like meiotic Islam and these pseudo things just to, in order to merge with the antiquity of Egypt. We also got new modern day people saying, no, we didn't have nothing to do with that, just mounting their apologetic arguments towards, the defense of Christianity or what have you.
Look, me, I just stand on the truth, man. Like, Egypt had a festival that they used to have a certain field of wheat that they used to bake into bread. That used to be the body of Osiris. They used to have sacred barley that they used to make into wine that used to be the blood of Osiris. This is communion. So simple stuff like that. Yeah, it was that they got that from Kemet. And anybody that says different just really ain't even paying attention to what's going on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think a lot about those type of Well, what happens with certain religions don't really start. Certain religions don't really start from scratch. Like when they come anew, they just be changing old traditions into their traditions. And so they be like, okay, we used to worship Easter on this day. Since everybody know this as a holiday, now we worshiping something new on this day. But what's up with logic?
What's up, man?
Ain't too much.
Man, thanks for having me on. I always appreciate it, man. I don't know why I like coming over here so much.
I think it's because we be doing the knowledge. I appreciate that.
We be getting it in. We be having some fun. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. So like for real, the depth of the conversation, I like the fact that you go so far into the culture, and then whatever we wound up pulling out of that, we wound up pulling out of it. But we don't. It's not a surface argument for the most part, most of the time.
Yeah, we learn a lot of stuff on the way. Stuff we ain't even trying to trip off. Like we learned that just by default, we learned that I think it was Amenemhet's mom was named Kim C, and somebody pointed it out like, don't that mean the black woman? See, we never referenced that in our discussion about the black woman, but now I got that new reference point. I'm gonna point back out when we get back to that discussion.
That's what's up. But I got a little comment on the Garfield thing too. But for real. So this is where I stop being able to follow exactly what was going on, right? Because just because it tripped me out so hard, and I don't understand what he is actually implying by this, right? So he says he's about to go and celebrate the Passover within a couple of weeks, right? Which means that he's honoring the presence of quote unquote Hebrews or Jews in Egypt, right? And then in the second breath, he's also saying that the New Testament writers would have not had any way to be able to copy the story. So to me, you've not only contradicted your statement, but you've contradicted your whole religion. You've basically said you basically reduced your argument to a biblical story in that you can't find it outside of the Bible. It tripped me out. So in my opinion, Cesariak wins the debate, but he loses because, to me, there's no way he can make that statement without understanding that it didn't happen. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't make that argument without even putting yourself in the shoes of this probably did not happen. Like, that's why you would say that the New Testament writers didn't have access to Egypt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only way you would say that, because you're either saying that the New Testament writers, they weren't coming from that part of the world, which is the worst argument that you can make, right?
Yeah, there's a gang of bad arguments, and that's why I try to not listen, because I'll be like, man, when I get riled up and say what I know, it just mess all that stuff up easy. Like, it's preposterous to say that they didn't have no place to transmit it. No one wants to address that the actual book of Mark wrote his gospel in Egypt. Like, why would we not address that? So what does that mean? Whatever it means, though, you got to know that he was there. They were speaking ancient Egyptian. He had to know how to communicate with people. Like, come on, man. So acting like there's no way that he could have knew the tales. Well, how did he know that they was pagan?
And this is the thing.
But that's his argument, though. That's what's tripping me out. The fact that it's this Tazariak's argument.
Hold on, bro. I'm about to expose something real quick. How they are understudying. They not as studied as they think they are, because you can't find the biblical writers. You can't. It's the Essenes. The Essenes were the known of the scripture during that time. It is documented. They talk about it in the scholars of the Dead Sea Scrolls will tell you directly. They were the ones that actually used hieroglyphs. They knew all that. They're the ones that did all the translation. They translated the book from Hebrew into the Greek. That's why a lot of the stuff is written in Greek, is because they were translating. It was this group of people called the Essenes. It was a certain sect of Christians. Well, not they weren't Christians at the time. They were Jews. And what happened was they had. Well, I know so much about them because I've been investigating this Jesus character, and their leader was called the Teacher of Righteousness, and he's the one that came up with the New Covenant. The New Covenant is the same New Covenant that these people are following today. And this is why I say he's the prototype. He's the one that they got the story from. His real name is Judah the Essene. If you Google him right now, it will pop up that his followers, after he died, his followers believed that he was going to come back in 40 years with chariots in the sky and kill all the sinners, and only those chosen people, the Essenes, were going to rule the earth. That's what his followers believed. And I believe that just went down in history. The story got passed down, just like the little game that we play in school when people whisper into somebody's ear and it goes around the classroom and it gets to the last person, the message is always wrong. I believe that is what happened. And they created this New Testament with a whole bunch of political aspirations included in it. And I believe we can prove it. It's a book written by a guy named Michael O. Wise. And he's been studying the Bible forever. He actually speaks 20 different languages. He can read Hebrew, he can read Arabic. He deciphered the Dead Sea Scrolls himself. And he is the one that really found the writings of Judah the Essene. And they're called the Teacher's Hymn. They're called the Teacher's Hymns because it was written by the Teacher of Righteousness. They just now, another guy named Michael Douglas is the one that actually found out that the Teacher of Righteousness is Judah the Essene. That's where I'm at with it in my research. I'm telling you, I'm getting very, very close to discovering what came about. It was wars and everything that people don't even talk about right now. They don't even talk about the civil war that happened between the different Jewish sects. You know what I mean? That caused the rise of the teacher.
Yeah, I think I remember you making that presentation on the pseudo killers one day, and it had.
They trying to listen. I showed the cross.
I think they had that picture in the beginning of it that everybody couldn't get past. We was stuck on that picture for so long. It kind of diluted some of the things that you was trying to say. I don't think it was intentionally, but.
That's what I was trying to prove with the cross. The cross was created by the Essenes. Everybody else that came after the Essenes that uses the cross actually admits that they got it from the Essenes. And this is what I was trying to show them. Their symbol was the cross. That's why I think the Jesus character came out of that sect. And they were a crisis call. You know how they say Jesus led a crisis call? That was the crisis call. That's it.
My bad. Not to switch the subject though, but I was thinking about what did y'all take from anything we seen about the place of slaughter today?
I have you'll never let me slow my slides when I come over here, bro.
Oh, I can. You can.
You never let me do it. I just had to point that out.
Go ahead right now. Go ahead right now. It'll be your first time.
It'll be the first time. So you wasn't making fun of Ellen DeGeneres? That wasn't me.
I mean, Ellen cool. I'm not mad at that scholar. She got it. I just know.
I'm just talking shit, bro.
But the thing is, y'all be leaning on her hella hard, so I know when her work gonna pop back up. That's all.
I mean, it's kind of not cherry picking when she's an expert. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so let me go ahead and get it. I think I've actually narrowed all of this down to like one sentence. I don't even gotta read no whole paragraph. I mean, I can if it possibly helps the argument, but I think it's one sentence that really just says all of this. Let me get to it.
Yeah, a sentence by Ellen.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Let me
but on the side note, man, I know this ain't on the subject, but anybody watch Hoop?
Yeah.
What y'all think about KD injury, man? Was that retarded?
when he went up for that layup.
Man, I was like, was the floor wet? Like, what's going on?
Bro, I saw that. I saw that like 10 times, dog.
I was
Gave
like,
me
is
big
the
clumsy
floor
ass.
wet? He just, when your knee might give out, it's like his ankle just gave out, bro.
Just said, nope, not this time, dog. I don't know what that was about. That shit was crazy. The look on his face when he hit the flow, he
Yeah.
was like, damn.
All right, I'm not gonna throw us off because sports will throw you off. So go with your source. Let's go.
So look. Oh, that's not it. One sentence.
We need brother Reggie. Where Reggie at? Come on, Reggie. Come out the butchers.
Hey, I've got a question about that Smash.
What's up?
What text is that from with the slaughterhouse of the God? Where'd you get that?
We'll have to go back and look at it. But everything is clear.
I
We
had
see,
that shit yesterday.
just for the record, we see what's going on with why they sometimes call it a slaughterhouse and sometimes call it a place of execution. But what we don't see is them equating it to sacrifice, and that's where people coming up short. Like, again, we know people got executed and we know all of these things, but there were two things that stood out to me. Hepri said he didn't get kidnapped to there or seized and taken there. And if you was the fan bearer of the king, then I don't get it all the way. Like, who was seizing people, taking them there? You know what I mean? But one of the texts was Hepri text. The other was the Stella of was it Amenemhat? I remember one Amenemhat, and then but it was the Stella of somebody else. We'll go back and look before the show's over.
And did I see the god Seth in that text? Is that the same text that mentions?
Yeah, I was ignoring those
Did it mention-
attestations. It was similar. If you look in the TLA under NMT, you'll get all of those attestations brought back to you. To use the TLA, just enter guest as your password and guest as your and check the clearance button, and you'll be in there. And you'll be able to look over all of those attestations yourself.
Okay, so I think, unfortunately, that what really brings this whole thing home is the actual consensus itself, right? So what I mean by that is I'm trying to follow along with the whole entire conversation, but right here it says, I'm looking at the third paragraph right here. It says the issue of how these retainers met their deaths and at what point they did so in relation to the interment of the king is of obvious interest to anyone attempting to reconstruct the first dynasty royal funeral ritual. And so I'm saying that actually kills the whole thing because they've already agreed to this retainers.
No, wait a minute. So just for the record, what we was mostly analyzing today had very little to do with this source right now. So we're going back to analyzing the stuff about the retainer sacrifices. And so, again, we know they find these people in these graves and they just trying to figure out how they were killed and got very little evidence to how they were murdered. So
Exactly.
What are you saying?
So what I'm saying is that we are trying to uncover the same thing that the experts are trying to uncover. The only thing is we're not labeling it the same way that the experts are labeling it, right?
You're right.
The experts have already
saying.
Labeled it a retainer sacrifice.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was saying. But some of us act like we beyond the experts and we concluded that it is that already.
Huh? How are we going beyond the experts by
That's what y'all doing. Y'all saying y'all know for a fact it was that.
We are using the conclusion of the experts.
But they ain't even concluding stuff. And Sadiq already debunked the next sentence. So read the next sentence.
The pink teeth, they don't have nothing to do with it. Okay,
it's the next sentence. What you mean it don't? She's leaning on the pink teeth to corroborate what she just said.
Let me clarify my first sentence before I continue to read that sentence then. Okay, so the issue is of how the retainers met their deaths, right? Not if they're retainers. It's how they met their deaths and at what point they did so in relationship to the intermittent king is obvious interest to anyone trying to reconstruct the first dynasty, right? So a pinkish stain on the teeth of some retainers at Abydos has convinced physical anthropologist Nancy Lovell that these individuals had been strangled. Another possible scenario for their deaths, however, is suggested by the scene of human sacrifice depiction in figure 23, 2.3. So again, they are not being vague about what this is.
But
They
no,
they have
but the
they
evidence
have
she
already come to
used,
the conclusion that
the,
this is what it is.
but the evidence she used has been debunked, and just like you said, we're at the same point the scholars is at in the research to see what it is, and we see that the scholar in this writing has used evidence that has since been debunked. She probably knows that, but she can't go back to her old writing and erase the part about the pinkish stain on the teeth.
As I'm saying, I was the first person to raise an argument against pink teeth. I feel like I'm the one being the most fair because I mean I've at least tried to get to what exactly is a sacrifice, right? But at the same time, me agreeing with your definition of a sacrifice, it it doesn't really help because the experts have already determined this is a sacrifice. You know what I'm saying?
No, they
So whatever
haven't.
we agree upon sacrifice being, it's not going to change. The experts have already labeled it a sacrifice.
But that's what I'm saying. They really haven't. like they all trying to see whether or not it was that case. Read the work. That's why that work is so exhaustive. She's trying to prove that it was one.
She's trying to prove that it was one by saying these retainers.
No, by saying the whole work is written to give evidence towards there being retainer sacrifice in Egypt.
The issue, the issue of how these retainers met their deaths, right, is what we're discussing. We're discussing how they met their deaths, but it won't stop them from being retainers.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Once we have discovered how they met their deaths, then we would have just
no, it's
added.
Definitely not.
We would have just added to the consensus. We wouldn't have overthrown the consensus.
There's no consensus. I mean, it's definitely not conclusive that they are retainers, bro. I'm telling you. Read the work. I pulled out various works with all scholars and some different stuff.
I put Jacobus Van Dyke on the screen. I can put it up again.
He wasn't conclusive either.
It says that these people were sacrificed. I mean,
well, evidence.
What part is not?
What people say. We looking at the evidence.
No, you. So okay.
So you're not.
I don't think you're doing this on purpose right here.
Say?
I don't think you're doing this on purpose right here. But for real, look, they say it's a sacrifice, and the conversation after that is about how they die.
So are you saying that we don't have permission to analyze whether it was a sacrifice or not?
No, what I'm saying is that we are trying to determine how they died, as if that is a requirement for them to be a sacrifice, is to know how they died.
So here's the misunderstanding that I presume is going on. When analyzing retainer sacrifice in ancient Egypt, they're analyzing both aspects of it. So there is an analysis to see whether they were retainers or not. And there's also an analysis to see if they were even sacrificed. And so when she's talking about the pinkish stain, that analysis is towards the method of death, which would let us know whether they were sacrificed or not. Obviously, if we think that they drank their own tea at their own house, you see what I'm saying? That would be different from us saying that they were gathered together for this purpose, sacrificed, and put in the graves. And so, but when we start to analyze the aspect of them being retainers, we're analyzing whether they had a concept of the afterlife where that they would be used for the king in the afterlife. And so that is like somewhat of a separate analysis, meaning they could have been sacrificed and not been retainers. You see what I mean? Or they could have been there to be retainers and not have been sacrificed in the way that some propose. You there?
Not have been sacrificed in a verifiable way, But they have already verified these people are sacrifices.
No, they
That's what
haven't. They
that's what
haven't, and you
I'm
just
at.
so you
So look,
messed. You
so
keep messing that up because you read and agreed that the next sentence was the evidence she was using to verify it. She used that a scholar said they had pink teeth, and that meant it was evidence of strangulation. But then in a later work, this was discredited because the pink teeth from strangulation would decay after 1 year. And she looking at evidence of teeth from thousands of years ago. So whatever pinkish hue she
so
seen would not have been blood remaining in the teeth.
so I just said that they are arguing over how they died and not what are they. I just said that.
Well, I mean, I don't get it. So
So
I don't
if the
disagree with
whether
that.
the
But what does
teeth are
that
pink or
mean?
green, whether the teeth are pink or green, it's really not the dominating factor.
No,
Like
my
like it's
point.
it's
That was not my point. My point was that it's not conclusive, and the only piece of evidence that she brought out to substantiate it has since been debunked.
okay. I'm gonna stay in the wheelhouse right there then, right? So right now I gotta identify that you land in the groove a little bit, right? So that it has not been identified, but yet we still have all these other surrounding elements of what it is. So I heard you say that they can't determine that it was made for the afterlife, right?
Well, that's the analysis of whether whether they were retainers or not.
Okay, so now I'm about to read the part where it talks about the grave orientation, and I'm not as familiar with some of the symbolism of what some of that means, and maybe you can help me out. But these graves are oriented in a specific direction. hmm
Go ahead.
All right. Interestingly, in later complexes of of El Akab, maintaining a clear path to the southwest appears to have been important, perhaps more even than preserving traditional concerning concerning the categories of individuals that ringed the royal tomb in any given reign. Extant stelae. I keep losing my spot. These words are too small. From the burial around Horai's successor's tomb, for example, consistent almost solely of women and dwarves rather than of men of military age. While De Geer may have preferred to be surrounded by women in death, in this king's complex as well as in most others of the first dynasty, at el Ka'ab, the retainer tombs were arranged in such a manner to leave a spatial break towards the southwest. Petrie suggested that this gap was due to the need of the mourners to approach the royal tomb from this direction. Any processions from the valley, however, would have arrived from the north in view of the southwestern orientation of Hor Aha and his retainers. Is there any significance to them being orientated all in the same direction?
Well, they seem to say it was for the mourners to enter into the place of mourning. It's like you going
I mean,
into a
but they could have set that up to come from any direction, is what I'm saying.
well, that there's no significance that I know of it pointing towards the south. We know about the south, but we don't know of any burial
So
tradition pointing towards the south.
so the significance would come from the people being orientated to the east. Am I correct?
I think
That's
so.
that's what you would be looking for. It's an east and western orientation because that would
But
be
that's like that
comparing.
significance is insignificant. So they could just be buried towards the east for any reason. That don't mean they retainers. I don't get it.
Okay, so in the tradition, I'm asking this. I said I wasn't familiar with it, right? So in their tradition, they don't orientate stuff towards the east to represent the setting or rising of the sun. Isn't that's not
I
significant?
would not be able to say that. That sounds like what people say, but I never read no primary on why they do that orientation.
I don't know where I would find a primary for that.
Yeah, and
But
they
the
talk
city,
about their
but the
burial
city of
tradition.
but
They
the
talk
city of the
about their
living,
burial tradition all the time.
but the city of the living is like the exact opposite of the city of the dead, and they were in locations that represented that, right? Or am I being pseudo by saying that?
Wait, say that again.
The city of the dead and the city of the living were in opposite locations, right? Like one was on the east side of the water, one
Wait,
was on the
what's the
west side of the
city of the
water.
dead though?
The Valley of the Kings.
No, that's not like the city of the dead. Nobody did no city work in the Valley of the Kings. No administration in the Valley of the Kings. No temples like that for people to occupy. It was just built into the walls, right?
I've heard. I don't know. I heard the lady on Ancient Egypt Odyssey, the Egyptologist lady. She said that she said that they absolutely were they had state officials that worked that part of the valley.
Well, I
That
don't
was
know.
that's
I'm
what
not
she
saying
said.
that that's not true. Probably just to keep people out of the tombs. But the Valley of the ain't no water there, bro. So that wasn't really no city like that. That was a burial site.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a
So what
graveyard in the cut. You feel me?
Right. So I'm saying that there is. I'm asking right here. Like there is no significance with all of them being orientated in the same direction.
If they are, I presume there is. But I just was being humble saying I don't know the significance of everyone being buried towards the south. Because that's what they clearly said. And he said it was Southern Gap so that people entering, for mourners entering. He didn't say nothing about any afterlife significance.
The placement of the subsidiary graves with respect to the royal tomb was thus clearly thought out ahead of time.
Yeah, it's thought out ahead of time, but read above where he said what it was for. He said it's for the mourners to enter from some direction.
Right, it created a free passage for the mourners to be able to come from that direction. But I'm saying the mourners can come from any direction. Like that's.
But
like
I guess they was coming from that direction. Like you know what
there's
I mean?
there's another passage in here that I know is, man, I didn't get a chance to read back over this morning, but there's a passage in here. Maybe Sadiq will get on here and help me beat up his homeboy. But at the same time, there's a passage in here that says that the visual that they were trying to accomplish was to have the sunset behind the king. I can't find it, man. I was ready for you yesterday and you juked me, dog. It kind of messed me up.
Well, after everything we looked at, we seen Place of Slaughter. We found a man not wanting to go there, but we still ain't found nothing about sacrifice, and that's kind of crazy. Like, okay, you want to say the Asiatics was in the Place of Slaughter? That's strong. That's one of the strongest ones. But I think if it's there, we'll eventually see those two words in conjunction,
Hey man, I ain't appreciate that shot. I ain't gonna lie to you. You done took some shots at me, but I ain't appreciate you sitting up here acting like I ain't reading. I'm just up here talking shit though. I ain't gonna lie to you. That one, I felt that one.
When was that?
You said I gotta read the article.
Oh yeah,
It's cool though. It's cool. It's all the fun, man. But so if I gotta take your word for it on this one, I wouldn't have another source that either debunks that or actually helps me. You know what I'm saying? If they're not oriented towards if it's not saying that orientation is the east, I get what you're saying, that it's not doing anything.
Yeah, and someone could teach me more about the Eastern orientation. I know about it, but I think people pull that out of other religious traditions and possibly superimpose it on ancient Egypt too. But I'm willing to learn. Like, I ain't looked at everything,
I don't know, bro. Think about this. Think about the Sphinx. The Sphinx is pointed to the west, and it was called not the foremost. That's Kente Amentu.
Hor M. Akhet.
Yeah, it's the opinion of the Westerners, and I think it has something to do with the Dead Sea. I mean, not the Dead Sea, but the Sahara Desert drying up and how it was life, and then it just died. And that's where I think they got that concept from. Because if you look at the cave drawings, you got dog-head men everywhere, and then the first god of Kemet was a jackal god.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the first, you're right, one of the first. And Kitty, I
Westerners,
meant to you, the foremost of the Westerners was there before Osiris was.
yeah.
And
You know,
so,
they try to say I lost this debate. I debated this dude called Tahuti. He the biggest pseudo in the Kemetic community. I swear to God, this dude believes that these people actually walk the earth. He don't understand none of the symbolism or nothing. He
a
really
lot of
thinks,
people be trying to argue that.
yeah, but these niggas is crazy. But I told him that. I'm sitting here and told him that you cannot find any mention of Osiris before I think it was the what century dynasty or something like that. It was one of them dynasties. I forget what dynasty it was, but it was no mention of him. It's because he was known as Kente Amentu, the jackal god before that, and then it changed. They changed it into Osiris. You know what I mean? This is how I was trying to show him that they created this character, and he wasn't a real person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a bunch of Hebrews in the room, and they was voting, so they don't know nothing about the shit anyway. But I think that got a lot to do with them burying people, because they did like the foremost of the Westerners, and I just think it got a lot to do with the death of the Sahara Desert, and they was paying homage to their ancestors, because I believe they came from the West. I believe they migrated out of the Green Sahara into Egypt. It might not have been the first people to inhabit it, but they were people that came from the West that came into Egypt and actually had a big influence on it.
Hmm. I ain't mad at that. Coming from Southwest, but the west, immediately west of Egypt, I don't know how many people came in from that. But we know, yeah, the route from the Green Sahara seemingly being through Nab to Playa in the real southern regions. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we see that. What can I say? What we don't see is that sacrifice yet happening at the place of slaughter, but I mean, I'm not as against the way y'all look at it as I was at first. At least Reggie brought forth some good evidence to show that he ain't just making everything up. Hey, so what y'all think about these new banks collapsing?
What you mean?
I don't know if
tell us.
It.
I'm not. So tell us the implications of the Silicon Valley Bank collapse.
Bro, what's
the trickle down effect of that?
That's stupid big. They was the biggest lender for all of the new companies. Like, let us find out Uber got all their money in there, or let us find out, you feel me? So we finding out which of the companies had hella money in there. So far, we just found out like Roblox, the video game, had 26% of their holdings in this bank. But they basically had over like, what, 200 billion? Silicon Valley Bank. So they was easy for tech startups and all these new type of hip companies to bank with. And here's the catch. They would give you a loan as long as you banked with them. So that means, heck, of these new companies, we're going to start hearing about it in the next couple days. They're going to be like, DoorDash app ain't working, or, stuff going to start being, I hope it ain't as bad as it appears, but I didn't know how much people knew about that.
Nah, you the first I heard about that one, bro. Yeah.
It just happened like a couple days ago.
There ain't no way in hell I'm gonna have 26 million and keep that shit in the bank, knowing that banks could collapse at any time.
I mean, but now you get the problem of where to put the money when you start getting that much money.
Yeah, that's why you turn it into gold bricks.
Some people say that. Some people be like, heck no, where we gonna put 26 billion worth of gold? I'm just saying, it's still gonna be held by somebody.
It's gonna go up in value.
I wasn't talking about the value. I'm talking about the storage. It's still gonna be held by an entity that's like a bank. That when you got the
you spend the money. You spend the money on things that you can sell in the future. You feel me? Instead of holding your money in banks, you hold it in real estate. You hold it in assets. You know what I mean?
So apparently these big companies don't know that, and they just got it. They got it in the bank, and it was $200 billion worth of bread in these banks. But for certain reasons, I think that one one caveat was that you had to do your banking with them if they gave you this loan. So they probably was giving out hundreds of millions that was having to be held in their accounts. You know what I'm saying?
I hope payroll wasn't held in their account. People will be pissed.
Well, we soon to find out. But if you Google SVB Bank or SVB collapse or whatever, you'll hear about it. But I ain't trying to go there. I ain't no economist. These things affect us and we don't be knowing about it.
Yo, I'll be sitting in the Baltimore City Council meetings now. Like every meeting they have, I've been in for like the last 2 months, and I'm learning a lot from that shit. Yo, we gotta, if we don't start paying attention to stuff like that, like stuff like what's going on in our community, the banks crashing and all that stuff, yo, we gonna continue to lose, yo. Like I'm paying attention. I got my ear to the street right now.
I know, me too, because I deal with a lot of fintech companies. And I don't like much traditional banking. I'll be trying to do this other banking. And I went to look through all of these things to see was anybody backed by Silicon Valley Bank to know what to do. Like, man, but you don't know because they bigger. The bank that they cut their loans with could be underwritten by them, or I don't know how it worked. But these banks, if you got that much money and you're the 12th biggest bank and you collapse, it's gonna affect a lot of things.
Don't the Federal Reserve cover it?
Only 250,000.
Oh shit! What the fuck is that?
It's the federal FDIC something. But if they only gonna cover 250,000 and you got 200 million in there, I mean, come on, man. But anyway, that ain't my joke.
Shut down his business now. Approximately $175 billion of deposits are at stake.
I can barely hear you. What you say?
It says last week it was doomsday when the California department shut down its business. Now approximately $175 billion of deposits are at stake. The reason behind SVB's collapse would be the shortage of cash. SVB now holds the title of the largest bank failure since 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah, so I'm just saying we know how this economy works. We went through it, and it ain't time for them to start talking about bank failures and stuff, because you know what that bring next. You know what I mean? I'm like, here they go. Then the next one go. So the second one failed since then. So that was the first one. Now we got the second one. I forgot what bank, but it just popped up on the news feed like this morning. So I'm like, here we go. Now we're going to be talking about bank bailouts and all this stuff.
All right. Man, Biden got a lot of shit to deal with. Blame that on Biden, too. Biden fault. Man, this about to be a bad political season with Trump running again. You know,
they're setting it up. They're setting it up for everybody to want to vote for Trump again because that's the last time cats was balling.
Mm-hmm. And
I ain't even mad if it wasn't for the racist aspect of everything that he brings to the candidacy. You feel me? That's the whole big thing. Like, I remember how it was. People was riding around with all they Confederate flags every other place. Remember that trend went out with Trump.
Yep. Oh, it's coming back. Because they
That's
ain't
what
never go. Them motherfuckers just went back in the hide.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
It's gonna be what it is, that's for sure. And
You
it ain't
know what
too
I'm
much
saying?
you gonna be able to do about that.
But
That's
if you
what I
look
be
at it,
saying.
look at what's happening around the country. What they really worried about is their biggest fear. Black people are taking over all the seats. We are
You,
winning.
Hey, your feed is
you,
low for some reason, fam. It's hard to hear you.
I think it'd be more beneficial to figure out how to maneuver in such an environment rather than try to create, destroy the environment to create a new environment. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, we need to take over the seats, and that's what I think. I think different organizations. I think they call it the what they call it, the divine nine, and they're a group of sorority and fraternities that's been working together to put their people in certain offices and into certain career fields to be able to influence Black culture. You know what I mean? And also the Freemasons. They've been the what's they call it? Prince Hall. They've been infiltrating the government and taking over all the seats. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff going on behind closed doors that people ain't even really paying attention to. And it got the white people too.
Yeah.
The baby boomers. That's who it really is. The baby boomers is the largest demographic still alive today.
All right, I'm about to set up my steering wheel right. I'm still chilling. We still chilling.
What you about to say?
No, nothing. I'm just about to set up some stuff. Go ahead.
So did y'all actually hear the guy that was talking on House of Consciousness the other day with the ladies, and he was talking about how he's got the land, the freedom land or whatever he's got going on? Y'all happen to catch that?
He got a coat. No,
Yeah,
I don't want to go there. What he got?
he got a little coke going on out there, but biggest part that tripped me out is he had tried to claim he had a hospital. That messed me up. I ain't gonna lie to you, but beyond that, what I'm actually saying is that half of his idea to me sounds really really good. It actually really, like it really should have it should have made me look at Brother Reggie a little bit more closely. Like I honestly, I have not looked at that Black City plan, and it probably is something really interesting in there for me.
That's my whole thing. I'm with that, but I ain't messing with nobody who keep on. We keep talking. All we got to do is buy land, family. And
that's it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
agree.
All this other stuff, cats bumping their guns. We don't need no permission. If we don't even need to come together in ownership. We can just follow other people's templates and buy in the same areas. Like this land is on the free market. We could buy it.
You see what I'm saying? The reason that them white people school systems are so good because them people come to the PTA. They serious about their kids. We play around with the education of our kids. It's like we sending them off to the babysitter. You know what I mean? We just we gotta go to work, so they going to school, and a lot of people don't even really investigate what their schools is actually learning. You come to find out in Baltimore, 23 schools, these kids can't even count. Nobody can pass the math test in those 23 schools. It's getting like, yo, we gotta start really moving. I wanna literally have a march on the UN about reparations.
I have a different perspective on some of that, right? Like, so I think that the land is a good idea, right? But I think that when he started to alluding to, having favorable lending options for people who have the land, like that's where it kind of started making some kind of sense, right? To where you can like centralize the benefits, you know what I'm saying, without having to have some of these other cultist labels and stuff like that on there, but being able to to provide that kind of benefit to the community, that I would say is awesome.
Well, this is our problem, dog. Everything we do is politically motivated, and it's because we got this feeling behind, oppression or what happened to us. And so we can do these things in America, and people are doing them now. They just don't have their political motivation on their shoulders, so to speak, like we often do. Meaning, all we gotta do, what we're trying to do and everything we're talking about, that's called being a developer. Excuse me, yo, mic check. Yeah, it's called being a developer, and they got community developers, right? And they got private communities and public communities, and so essentially, there's no law against developing a community in America. That's what America want. It want people who gonna step forward and develop new communities and get thriving business going on. But our political motivation is to say, man, we put it on the forefront like we need to develop a black community. Well, there's people who developed Jewish communities. I'm talking about from the ground up, Mormon communities, Amish communities. You feel me? But they necessarily didn't have such the political motivation being the main thing. Like, yo, we need to separate the Amish people from the moon. You feel me?
Yeah.
They just like, okay,
we got even such an extreme version of that idea is unhealthy.
So what? Yeah, it's definitely, and it don't really work in it don't really work. That's why we can see heck of Chinatowns. We know what they say in their own private meetings, but they definitely ain't seen. You know, we can't find no place where they got the political motivation behind Chinatown on the billboard.
Right, right. I never thought about it like that, but you're absolutely right. Like we all know for a fact the Triad is down there going crazy, but ain't no advertisement for what they actually got going on. Like, yeah, it's just Chinatown. You know what I'm saying? You bring your preconceived notions with you if you want to, but this is just Chinatown. You know what I'm saying? We're not putting it out there that we are trying to isolate ourselves, or you know what I'm saying?
And so you're right. And so the term, I guess they call them diasporic enclaves. Like if we start to research other diasporic enclaves, meaning we ain't the only people that spread out from our original place of origin. Other people have them, but other cultures have learned how to exploit these cultural enclaves of these little places, small little Italies. And, we know them. We know Japantown, everybody else but us. And so, again, we could do it. It's legal. It don't take all the talk we doing. It's take a little bit of talk and more work and action. And what I mean by we got to start really acting like a business, even though we're not a business. But furthermore, I'll turn over the floor by saying that even if we wanted to go the culture route, you know what I'm saying? But that's just a company now. And so if you ain't set it up the way that America allows it, let's think about this. Do you see how big Google's facility is? And they feed you, they house you, they really do everything a cult does, if you think about it. Think about it, but people just ain't understanding the only way that type of thing is allowed is in an economic platform. What if we found out Google had political purposes behind everything they've been doing? We would have never known until they was one of the biggest companies in the world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, but they do got compounds. They got everything that you would say, oh, this is a cult, if they wasn't doing things economically. And so I'm saying, okay, we need to step to it as businessmen where everybody know what it is. We buying in the same area. We accumulating assets. We developing undeveloped land in America, all things that will look good to the nation and be good to the nation. And nobody wouldn't even mind. Nobody ain't tripping. That's why I'll be like, dude, we could do a Black Vegas. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't called Black Vegas, but again, that's what they did was found some unused land, ran mob money through it, whatever. I ain't talking about that, but you know what I'm saying? Having a place of entertainment to where everybody invests in a particular location and make it something to the world.
Man, I know for a fact, you know what I'm saying? I know I've been caught not having popular ideas a lot. But look, I am solely under the unimpression that idea simply just comes from the elders, man. Like that's just me. I don't see how we can promote ideas that contradict what the elders were saying without in some way saying that the elders were wrong when they took this kind of approach, right?
Wait,
Like the
wait, wait,
fact.
wait, wait. But what they wrong? I don't get it. What made you
So let
start
me.
thinking about this?
What made me start thinking about this is because it's so what you said is absolutely correct. I agree with that 110%, right? But far too many times we hear people coming in with the exact same idea, and it to me it usually only leads to two different outcomes. It leads to us having some land, whatever part of the world that you want it to be, and we're usually farming or going back to like some hunter-gatherer stages, like right. That's I'm just giving you my opinion. So, and then the second idea is it's a military idea, as if we need to attack the capital itself, right, and just destroy America and create something brand new here. So like those are the two extremes that I see that thought process usually leads to. It doesn't lead to a rational solution that you just gave enough times for me.
It is the third option. And because I don't believe we need to do a whole bunch of like moving anywhere. We can buy up our own communities. You know what I mean? Like I was saying, go to the community meetings. Once you're in the community meetings, you have a voice. You can voice your opinion. You can mold your community to be what you want it to be. Like this summer, I'm starting a Garrison flea market, right? To where as though it's a plot of field that the community association owns. And I'm getting different Black vendors to come to this location every Saturday and Sunday to be able to sell their whatever they're vending. You know what I mean? They're going to pay like $25 for the slot. You know what I mean? That $25 goes back to the community. The field is big enough to have a couple hundred vendors out there if I want to. You know what I mean? So it depends on how many vendors we have, how much money we make, but that money goes back to the community. Now we can pay for trash pickup. Now we can pay for community service. Now we can start putting the responsibilities of our community back into our own hands instead of having to keep on complaining to the city that they ain't sending no trucks down here to sweep up the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that too. And but even in the idea, people with the money need to manifest it. That don't mean you need to move there. That could be an investment area. And just like everybody who own a Chinatown don't live on top of their business, they live in some nice houses in some affluent community. But they have again, the only way I can say it is a cultural enclave to where even if they want to go there for economic purposes, now you see apartment buildings popping up in Chinatown that they all came together on and they can choose who they rent to. We could do this. This is easy. That's acting like we can't do it is childish. I don't even really feel that because I'm from a family of real estate, and then on top of that, I'm with a collection of brothers who we didn't really figure it out. We just got taught it that it's possible that we could just accumulate assets together, whether no even matter how we feel about each other at the moment. You know what I'm saying? As long as the business on paper and everything is legal and everybody got their legal recourses, hey, what's the big deal? So we got to understand, we don't sign contracts with each other, but every app that you signed up with, you went into contract with them. They make you go into contract by a few presses of a button. So if that's how we need to set it up, then cool. Do the app for this community awareness and have people click on their contracts and sign into something, just because we do it all the time anyway. You see what I'm saying? But when it comes down to us saying, okay, let's bond an agreement between us three, or not just us three, between any somebody don't want to put their name on the paper. They don't even want to express why they don't want to put their name on the paper, because we could work all that out. Any suspicions or everything, those all could be addressed in the doc paperwork. But you notice how in my 47-year-old life, I don't find too many situations like we coming together the way that America will acknowledge. Like we put it on paper, something go wrong, just stand in front of a judge. It's nothing.
We keep worrying about the past instead of worrying about the future. That's exactly what the problem is. We still focused on slavery. Our mental health in the present is very important, but we got to start planning and take action to make our lives better in the future. You know what I mean? Which is why I believe reparations is important. I don't believe reparations should come in the form of a check at all. I believe they should put in the system necessary for us to fix the problem, our mental health problems and the drug addiction and the problems with the mass incarceration. I think they should put in systems to help Black people come out the hole that we in mentally.
Yeah, they should put in stuff, but until they do, we could definitely put in our own. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they will eventually, but I think we definitely should put in our own.
This is the thing. It's going to be done by us, but we need funding. This is what I'm saying. We need funding to be able to connect with as many people.
So that's why I'll be on my hype. I'll be on because people don't understand. Even when I'm talking about everybody having a good credit score, it all lead back to that economically too. Like, I don't want to be in no cult with people with bad credit scores. Because y'all can't even do nothing. One day, that whole cult could say, everybody pull out $1 million. We're going to clean out every gun store in the city. And we got the money to do it. I don't care. I'm just saying, but no matter how you move and if economics ain't behind it, it's just an excuse to not thrive. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. At that point you have just found a comfort group for your bad situation, but you have not been actively looking for the solution for the bad. So you know what I'm saying? Bad
and
situation.
So look, I wasn't judging by that merit, and I'm not acting like I got no good ass credit score. I'm simply saying we need to focus on economics, because what would that allow? 10 men, bro, could easily. It don't take 10 men to get $1 million. One man could get $1 million in a loan. That's not nothing. Think about the average home price in California or in the Bay Area. So now, if we still thinking politically, but it ain't on our chest, right? And so in order to get that money to move like you eventually got to move, you got to step up into the economics field as a business person with a regular suit on. Having on the RBG will have you in less business meetings. So then, you know what I'm saying? I know people don't feel that, but it's economically true. This is a capitalist society, and you in the game. We could change the game once you get power to change it, but you can't just lose the game because you don't like it. I think, you know what I'm saying?
You feel me? Some people ain't even playing the game. They just sitting on the sideline letting life do them.
Yeah, and so back to what we were speaking directly, and I want to give evidence of it. A community developer is a real thing. Developers are real things. It's not like I'm just making this up. So we know developers who are digital developers, they develop things inside of the computers. But an actual land developer can do exactly what we want to do. So I'm going to share my screen and try to pull up some brothers who had this idea in 1919, before Garvey, before everybody, before Elijah Muhammad. And they did it, and they executed it. The way they executed it was relevant to their time period. Dang, hold on. But this is, I'm going to Google Hugh Macbeth and Theodore Troy, and maybe I'll get them. HUGABETATROY, and then I'll put Mexican Land Development Company and see what Google give me back. Oh, did I mess that all up? I didn't put it in the right space. Dang. Anyway, y'all there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hugh Macbeth and Theodore Troy. I look up to these brothers, Theodore Troy, and then let me see. I just put Mexican Land Development to see if they pop up. Hugh Macbeth. All right, let me see. So what happened when Theodore Troy? So have y'all ever heard of these gentlemen?
Mm-mm.
All right. This Lower California Mexican Land Development Company. All right, so I found them. Little Liberia, So I should have put Little Liberia so I can find a qualified source. So why we acting like in this age we can't do what brothers have done in 1919, bro? We boosie. Like we ain't even them ones. We not them ones if we can't do stuff like that. It's maybe gonna be the youth or somebody else. I know I'm one of them ones. That's why I'll be like, what's the problem? Do we not believe in ourselves or whatever? So I'm only gonna read this from a source called Black Past because I've done the research on this already and I know this to be true. So don't be like, oh, you read that from Black Past. Little Liberia, Baja California, 1919, was a basically they was talking about everything we was talking about, and they had basically had somebody who recommended that they put their same political motivations to the side and acquire land the way that they will allow you to do in the standard government tradition. Now, knowing that in the time period that they lived in 1919, California was already locked up. They coming from LA, so they considered to talk to the Mexican government about getting a land grant, or even they didn't even get a land grant. So let me read it. Initiated in the early 20th century by Los Angeles attorney Hugh Macbeth and the Lower California Mexican Land and Development Company. Now listen to this. The Mexican Land and Development Company was all black. So this is what I be saying. But they didn't put the African American Mexican land because that just would have not even got as far as they got. But anyway, the Lower California Mexican Land and Development Company, the Baja California settlement, known as Little Liberia, was envisioned as a racially inclusive community through which African Americans would have the opportunity for vocational, economic, and agricultural advancement. That's exactly what we're talking about. Located northeast of the town of Ensenada. So, you know, if you take a cruise on the West Coast, they always going to try to get you to go to Ensenada. Well, located northeast of the town of Ensenada, Little Liberia was based on a notion of economic uplift, racial self-sufficiency, and land accruement espoused by Booker T. Washington and Marcus Garvey. All right. It says it failed to flourish primarily due to financial mismanagement and Mexico's land repatriation and immigration policies. But they ain't telling you about for about the 15 years, maybe it was 11 or so years that they actually had a thriving ass community down in lower in Little Mexico. So the process of acquiring this land was through land development. So it says, spurred by the initiates of African American community groups in Los Angeles forums and the desire for land investment amongst entrepreneurial African Americans, Macbeth sought out about establishing the all-black agricultural community in 1915, hoping to initially settle at least 200 families. So again, that's more that people should look into, but the fact that we have templates of how to do this through old land development protocols, and then we can look into the new ones, and we'll find out that, man, it's a lot easier to do things like that today. Like the Black City Plan could really be a thing.
Yeah, good. I just believe if we're going to buy land, we need to buy land with some resources on it, something that we could make money on. You know what I mean?
So I'm about to show you something.
I don't know if that's the most important thing, right? I think it's like I think it's really what Smash is saying. Like having more of a collective economic goal in mind is probably more that thing, right? So all of us, so 200 families farming and creating a product. Okay, that's cool, right? But like 200 families with good credit, with maybe the ambitions to buy a bank or something. Like now I think that you really turn it up. You know what I'm saying? You accelerating it times 10 at that point.
Dang, I seen this thing on YouTube last night and I wanted to show what it was, but I think I watched it on my phone. I'm gonna try to pull it up in a minute. But yeah, that's always been my goal, and luckily I'm down with my crew because I feel like I'm getting that off in my life a little bit. But when I look at our template and our format, and I understand how these things work in America, for instance, how LLCs could have unlimited members, or there's not a big limit on the members you could add. You're not gonna have unlimited members. But this could change all at once. That once you got a sound system set up, people could enter it and exit it legally. I don't understand what it be, because we really never done none of this before, and we have to show positive examples of it for people to understand it.
I agree. But it goes back to the education. A lot of people don't know they can. They don't know about property. They just know what they tell them.
That's it. We don't know. That's what's so crazy, that it's really sitting right under our nose, and we just don't know. But we also are suppressed. Our ambition to find out has been reduced into we think it's the white man, right? So now that you think it's the white man, now your energy for finding a solution is wrapped up in we got to get rid of the white man, and really that's not the case.
Anybody thinking on that, I don't know what they're thinking on. I mean, maybe they fall asleep with some type of crazy thoughts on the late night.
So, but Smash, what other reason would it be to isolate yourself and start farming? That's what I'm saying. I don't think, even though isolationists ain't on get rid of the white man, because we got isolationists who don't got political. Mean by death, but you're getting rid of him by isolating yourself from him. Well, people trying to get off the grid ain't always thinking. They ain't always thinking racially motivated. Sometimes they just want to get away from the government, which in turn is the man. It just look at how what POV you coming from. If you just like against the system, you still got those same farming ambitions, buying a piece of land, and hopefully you're going to buy it, because if you go too far out, some people think we own the land. I'm not paying for anything. And I'm not with that. That's stupid. And that's not really, there's not too much success in that. Anytime people getting outside of the realm of just standard legalities, they wasting your life, so to speak, because eventually that's catching up with you. We can invest in getting over. Okay, that ain't what you talking about. I'm going off on a tangent. But I'm saying we even have those who be like, go so extreme to be like, we already own the land, like I was speaking about. And none of that will work. I just simply think, look, who are the I live in a farm city, kind of speak, in Central California. And right around me, new developments are being put up. New communities, new gated communities. And here's the coldest part: having access to the realtor that is selling the new development is not the normal process. You see what I'm saying? And so who's to say that we couldn't erect, even if we started small with, now I'm thinking economically, I'm not thinking cultish. So because having 10 houses in a community is an economic power move. You know what I'm saying? And then having those resources, going back to the overall goal of doing that more and more, until where you look to where, damn, everybody in this whole neighborhood is rocking like this. You see what I'm saying? That's a reality, but we act like those is big boy britches. So that's why sometimes I don't want people even on YouTube to misunderstand me, but I don't like to be around now. And it's nothing. If you scared to have $1 million or even $1 billion conversation, even if we just sitting there just building, sometimes when it get that big, people just act like you talking about things that won't really possibly ever happen. You see what I'm saying? And I don't fuck with that. That ain't my mentality. I'll be like, get out the room, because you already ain't on the level. You think not know what we talking about, but those characters relegate themselves to the 100 column or the thousands columns and think that everything we could achieve might get you 10,000, but you never gonna get no millions. That's not true.
And we proved that over a million of times as a collective, even though we had this music thing. But I'll be telling all my homies, that don't apply to that, bro. Like, I know most of my homies who live a good life could just be right on the level or even doing better than me at times when we kicking it. But that don't take away from the assets that we accumulated in the name of the LLC. That's well over $2-3 million. You see what I'm saying? So the owners of the LLC is us. And so eventually what you're going to wind up doing with your assets, that could be done. Those could be collective decisions just had by black men just in business meetings. Like it happens every day, but we don't know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy to me. And so, I don't know.
Got to come up with a different type of platform, something that makes learning business.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. And yeah, I get what he's saying too. You know what I'm saying? I definitely get that. And I think the last thing that you said, shoot, if you want to elaborate on that, I think that's exactly where it is right there. Like we have to, what the challenge is to develop something that is was like engaging enough to where it does steer you into having, to at least promoting these type of thoughts, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like so for me, I'm biased. I think that I think having the control over some, community bank entity is where it's at, right? So that's where my bias would come in.
No, what you mean having the control over a community bank entity?
Like a credit union that just support, that is centralized, right? So like my idea would say, this particular community that works at this particular plant or whatever, like we can centralize these benefits in that type of way, right?
That's
like,
definitely an option, and that's something. But again, to extend credit, you got to have some type of funding. So we got to have an economic platform to get to that. But now what I started thinking is like, why ain't they doing that right now? Because essentially, hella black companies could be extended credit to. But here's the thing, people, when we start talking about credit, people don't understand how that all comes into this. So, and let's just talk about a limited LLC, and I give this example before. A LLC of willy-nilly, let's just say you came through with your homeboys without doing the due diligence and y'all wasn't setting it up right. Y'all just had ambitions and y'all came together willy-nilly and y'all put 4 people's name on the paper, right? And then y'all want to start doing business. That's already backwards a little, because going into business, y'all going to get to a point where y'all need some funding. So y'all going to say, how much you got on it? How much you got on it? That's too much. Well, I'm just going, what we call hood business, or that's not the real deal. We supposed to have upstanding profiles and come together with those profiles. And so instead of us reaching into our well that we support our families with, we know that, oh, we a LLC and everybody in this LLC got a 750. So we already know that we could use the bank money to do our ideas. And now we put in a commitment of, we each taking a commitment of ownership through our LLC. But notice this, you could we're not asking, no one in the LLC is asking anyone to step into their personal well, because we now have a social security number that's tied together called an EIN. And you know what I'm saying? And so essentially when you step to a banking entity, they're going to ask you these questions. And if y'all all got a good credit score, your LLC could be structured to the way where everyone's documents are looked at. Now, when a banking entity look at phone, they're not going to see your color. Trust me. They're going to see, dang, these 4 gentlemen with this business all got this personally going on for themselves, and they just asking us for $1 million. They won't be, that's qualifiable. So now whatever the ambitions of our LLC was to get that $1 million, we step to it in a way that we could possibly eventually qualify for it. If not, you're going to have to shift the ownership to where whoever the best could be in front. But still, these are all, we ain't said nothing that's under the table or illegal. This is what America wants us to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
This is that's playing the rules once you know the rules right there.
Right. That's
Yeah.
the problem. Nobody explained the rules. The rules you got to go learn on your own, and a lot of people don't take the time to go learn.
So Nathaniel Turner said this is one way we could utilize our credit scores. My brother, I'm gonna keep it a buck with everybody. First and foremost, you need good credit and all of that stuff to be able to have the bag if you need to get the money, grab the girl, and run. How about that? Let's just keep it a buck. What if you just, I'm talking all the way. I'm talking all the way, just giving it to you funky. What if just something bad happened in your life and you couldn't even pay for a medical treatment? You see what I mean? And you like, oh man, I gotta pay 200 G's. I ain't forget my plans for my credit. I need this 200 bands for a kidney. So I'm just getting all the way funky with people. Like, you need that well to dip in because you never know what's going to happen in life, and not having that open up to you is just crazy. You know what I'm saying? When all it takes is us talking and sharing information. It's people amongst us like with all 800s, and they can tell you, this is all I did for my life. And again, I mean, I know I sometimes I feel like I'm talking for too long, but nevertheless, you got your personal ambitions, you got your business ambitions, and that's why they separate the two between personal credit and business credit. I've worked at companies for years and owned LLCs that did not even understand credit, but with clean ass profiles to where all the time we willy-nilly try to divvy up cash. You could just be going to use some of your credit. And so I'm not talking about the downsides of it and irresponsibility and all of those things. We just simply talking about how the business world is running, and we don't be understanding it. Brenda want to know who put them kids in the slaughterhouses. It looked like the Asiatic. It looked like we did a good analysis on that, Brendan. I was wondering where you was at. We went to the bottom of that. It looked like the Asiatics put their own kids in there, and then the word they had for slaughtering actually had a rendition which said daily offerings. So we trying to figure out what's going on there, because a lot of people was going to those slaughterhouses for their daily offerings. But one thing, our last analysis, and y'all could do it, is to find that slaughterhouse or place of slaughter in conjunction with sacrifice. We find it in conjunction with execution, but not with sacrifice. Well, let's keep going, though. Let's keep building. So basically, again, like with Z-York, I don't know nothing about the lifestyles and the cult activities, but his trying to do some things the regular way, like just buy the land and doing it, that template right there, it got beat up because of the cultish and the regular activities happening within that organization. But that didn't happen to Google. You feel, or it didn't happen to Twitter. Why don't we understand it's simply just the same thing?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
Yeah. I mean, man, I like the convo, and that's. I hope people don't be thinking so that I'm like, yeah, I do got my normal life ambitions. I'm cleaning up my credit for it too. I want to acquire more. So as you get older, you got to start getting stuff that make money for you, and stop making money for you. Like, just let things make money for you. So as I get older, I've got to position myself to have more things making money just for me, like passive income, so to speak. So most people accumulate property is the easiest way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all there?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. Positioning is everything, man. But I wish that was something that I had learned at a much younger age. I mean, when I was stupid frivolous with money. But you live and you learn.
Well, you know
You gotta
what?
get there.
Yeah, the race, you only at where you at in the race too. It ain't no race against nobody. It's just our own lives. And so I thought about that too. I could have done so much when I had my record deals, but I didn't have no knowledge of what to do with the money. You know how many people say that? So what? Like it's people who ball before and after that. And when you go into business, you're gonna lose more than you ever. I'm not talking about you, but I've learned that I lost everything that I used to think was great. I didn't like, for what I mean is just by doing business, you be getting more money, and something that you used to be like, man, I wish I do. You will lose that in a week and then bubble back 4 times than that and be like, man, dang, I used to think that little piece of paper was something to hoard over. You know what I'm saying? And so again, when I say lose, if everybody understand that this ain't gambling. So that is just a part of business. It's called profit and loss. You know what I'm saying? And so that's not like saying you did something bad or something. It's just every idea don't work and don't hit the projections. And so that's a loss. But man, it is what it is. I think that's the way we haven't tried, and that's the way that's gonna work. I don't know.
Yeah, people getting more conscious about business now. I think a lot of people moving in the right direction towards it. It's just going to take more education.
Yeah, I think that the whole, we need to make our own underwear thing. You know what I'm saying? I think, it's a good idea, but not necessarily, I ain't with it 100%. Like I'm probably a good 50, 75% on that, right? Yeah.
So
Maybe
we
if
need
I'm
to do what
selling the
other
underwear
cultures
for
do.
$20 a piece or something, I don't know.
We need to do what other cultures do. Specifically, we need to sell our culture and we need to develop technology. That's what I know at this point. And because the part about getting into technology, ain't no end to that. One day somebody develops something new. So one day Tesla, not the new Tesla, but the old Tesla, came with the knowledge to give him the bomb, right? He was working on other stuff, but didn't Tesla? Who came with the knowledge to give him the hydrogen bomb or whatever? Well, if it wasn't Tesla, it was somebody else. But he was just studying. And so that knowledge made that nation hella powerful. So why that can't just be somebody just studying over here like, bruh, if you put this to this gonna blow up. And nobody in the whole world know it. Well, they did it, and they do it over and over again. And so, again, not technology only for military purposes, but technology also for the advancement of civilization. The people who bring forth new technological movements are heralded. Like, come on. So what's up? We need more people studying on that. We keep studying backwards, dog. I know enough of the metal nature. I should know enough about computer science. I do. I could make a crypto. I could build a Web3 D app. You know what I'm saying? But this is stuff that because I challenge myself because I'm like, you're not going to be going backwards. So now I'm going to learn a language before the metal nature and go back some more years. Come on now. We need to be going to the future. Somebody said, is there another website to make a business logo? I use my mid-trout turning. Honestly, I be just using, you could go to Fiverr, give somebody $5. But if you was talking about an AI website, I'm not sure. But somebody right on Fiverr will make you a logo for $5 or $10.
You can if you get Canva, you can make one yourself. If you know how to do it.
You can know what? I could go right now and I use Canva myself. I could go right now into my Upwork. Excuse me. Upwork is where you can do businesses with people all over the world. And I'm just going to try to show y'all some messages between me and one of my bookkeepers in the Congo. Literally. I don't be showing people this, but this is so that we need to understand business a little bit, to where I would let a bookkeeper from the Republic of the Congo help me manage my assets. And so I'm going to give a live example of that just so we can see. Because really, we got to understand business. I've had a business where we had, just how we having a Zoom right now. Right when the Ukraine war started, one of my lead developers was in the Ukraine. I'm talking about internet developers, not the type of developers we was talking about. A web developer. He was in the Ukraine. The bookkeeper was in the Congo. We had other people in the United States, and we was getting the Zooms just like this, working on a task and a specific goal. And so I'm gonna go to Upwork. Upwork is just like Fiverr, where you could hire people who got classified skills. And she was one of the best bookkeepers I messed with. And so it's crazy that, man, we could do anything. I mean, there's recourse in the world when people mess up. So it ain't like I don't be suspicious. I know how to do my paperwork. Like with rap shows, I don't never not get my show money. I'll be wondering how people not even get paid. You didn't get paid, so you didn't have no contract. So you didn't get no deposit. I'm walking out the room. You ain't even nobody I need to further proceed even hollering at because you tripping. Or I could teach you, bro, this is how you do it. Like you didn't get paid. And so you structure your business in a way that, what, you didn't get paid is not, that can't even possibly work. But anyway, her name was Maggie. So you'll see my contract with her has ended. But I ain't been in this contract for a minute. But let me just show you something, just so people could really understand, like, we ain't scared to do business with each other. And I specifically went looking on the continent of Africa so I could have somebody on the continent on my payroll. So as we see here, I'm gonna blow up the screen, and I guess this is I could recommend her. She did a very good job. But you see, they asked me to restart my contract with Maggie Chingombe. All right, and so I don't just be bumping them. I mean, I don't, others don't too. All right, and now they're telling me to reset my account up, but that's cool because I ain't used this account in a while. So look, here we talking about profit and loss statements, all these different things, okay? And so, again, what I could go pull up a developer from the Ukraine who did very good work. And I'm just saying is working with each other through the computer and doing all this stuff is a real thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to you don't even know who on the other end half of the time. As long as you're going through something that's vetted, please, we can set up whole companies through the straight computer, yo, all that stuff. For whatever purpose, will, and intent and ambitions. You go to Fiverr. Oh, you can set up almost anything in your Fiverr or whatever. You know what I'm saying? What I mean is, like, somebody asks for a logo, bro. You could get money with Fiverr or get people who work for cheap, make your logo for $10 right on Fiverr. Well, we know that stuff.
I just wish we get there.
So what?
I said I wish we just get there.
Well, we right here. You know what I'm saying? We is right here.
Yeah.
My man Venice, who got the food trucks down in LA, if I got that correct, he say, let's do it. You got the food truck, great plan. I would want to hear about that because so this is what happened, and I don't know what's going on, but I want to go to help get my wife cooking into, we want a restaurant and we want to go the food truck path, but there's a property in my city that's available and I'm trying to see what happens. So if we get this property, then I won't be going the food truck path, but I still will be loving to discuss that.
It's funny that you said that though, bro. I'm trying to start a restaurant too, yo. I'm trying to start something called the House of Rhythm and Blues, but it's not going to be here in the United States. It's a spot that I moved to. I've been in Mexico for the last 2 years. I'm back home right now, but I'll go back down there in April. But there's a spot called Puerto Vallarta, right? And it has everything necessary. It's a resort town. You see what I'm saying? It has all type of different tourists coming in from all over the world, black people, white people. And the one thing that this spot doesn't have is the hip hop culture, right? And everybody wants it. I'm like connected in the community. I've been down there so long that I know the majority of the black people, we have nothing to do most nights. You know what I mean? So creating this venue down there would be like one of the top entertainment venues in that region. You see what I'm saying? Whoever creates it will make a lot of money. I'm just saying that's the idea. If you wanted to, I'm in the process of looking for land and everything down there right now. So and it's going to be about soul food, but that's another thing they ain't got down there. They don't have soul food.
So here's another thing. Just like we was discussing, I know how I ain't never really got too many of my people. A shout out to once I built a company up for 10 years and I did get some people come out to cut, some brothers that had some money that helped us out and invested in what we did. But other than that, I had not had too many situations that, like we mentioned before, to where we was willing to go into those put money together situations. So I've strayed away from that, and I'm more on let's put our efforts together, or I'm really knowing we can use our credit together. So essentially, we can use the bank's money together. You see what I'm saying? Or we can contribute intellectual property, which is just, you see what I'm saying, to the movement, whatever that is. To me, it's economic with politically motivated with your intentions behind you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you might not even trip once you see you just built a whole thriving community of affluent people and it ain't no crime. You might just be like, did we just already reach the goal? And now we need to reproduce this template all over America? How you gonna do that? First of all, you're not gonna do that with nobody in the community needing nothing. If you need stuff, you're gonna steal stuff. You steal stuff, it's got a regular ass American community. So making sure we taking care of each member, each household by the way we talk about it, Like the way we talking about it is like this. We got to get our personal profiles together first. Who could join the collective that's out of pocket? Do you know you can't even be an FBI if you got debt?
Yep.
You know you can't have now you might have debt like a mortgage, but you can't be owing nobody because you can be compromised. It's certain organizations you can't even be owing nothing. So they be like, how you gonna be in the Secret Service and you owe somebody 100 bands? You easily gonna take advantage of your position. Now, you know, that's not the same with the government, regular politicians, but these positions of protection, you can't even be, because they understand that what these certain type of debt situations put a man in, you know what I'm saying? And so then if we coming together again willy-nilly, and you never know who you coming together with. Somebody's whole goal might be to rip the whole thing off just because we didn't make sure that person or everybody was on a level financially who walked into it. So you more likely, if everybody got $250,000 and we all about to invest together, you less likely to be getting somebody who's trying to get everybody. But if you got like 5 people with $250,000, one homie got 10 bands, I ain't even going there, but I'm just talking about the reasons why we need to address each other's situations, make sure everybody good before we even move in those directions. So that's where that credit score and that stuff and all that, those discussions coming. Man, I'm a true believer of old tradition now. I'm starting to think that marrying for love and all that old stuff, man, we pushing our children towards that type of stuff? Because as off the hook as the world didn't become, and they even took any type of mischievous, deviant pleasure, you can now put that in the category of, this is what I want to do forever, what I like to do. You know what I'm saying? So now, I don't even think that all that love stuff, that's over. We need arrangements. I'm not talking about just arrangements like, you marry him, y'all. But nah, we need to have more control over who somebody gonna fall in love with. Your future and the people and everything gotta be part of it, man. I know I might sound like I'm rambling, but we just letting people walk out into the TikTok world and you gonna fall in love in the TikTok world and then that's gonna be your life? We need to go back to some tradition.
I like what you're saying. I just don't like the analogy that you're putting it in.
It's because the analogy is the truth, though, right?
I mean, it is. It's too raw. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
We let kids fall in love in the TikTok world. What's that gonna bring for our heirs and our lineage and all that stuff? At least we gotta let them know this knowledge. Like a lot of that stuff you see ain't even real.
Right. It's China. And that's why Biden and them trying to ban it. They saying they socially engineering and studying our children. They trying to study our patterns through our social media use. Pretty much learning about us.
Yeah. I see the brother.
There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in China right now. I don't know. I think for the next couple of years, it might be a war with China.
It's a brother who just borrowed $1.5 million from his $5 million in stocks that he had on YouTube. I like watching that type of stuff because I'm like, yep, this is for me. But when he pulled it out and said what he was pulling it out for, I was just shaking my head left and right. Like, why he can't be watching our streams? Because he pulled it out to buy some watches, not to put on his wrist as an investment. Some watches, some other stuff, and some other stuff. That wasn't, it was watches, crypto, and something else. And I was like, okay, I understand. Your plan, everybody, first of all, your plan is your plan. That's why you got the $5 million in the stock anyway. So I can't give you a better plan than you got. So I don't got the $5 million in stock. But I'm wondering, some watches, bruh? You gonna buy hella rollies maybe and then dump them up 5Gs? Okay, I feel you. What about this? Say something that's going to appreciate, because the crypto could appreciate. I don't know, but it just had me thinking. Sometimes when even the hoop players who got hella money, when you get it and you got it, the other person ambitions can't be placed inside of you. You know what I'm saying? You just be like, I just want a Rolls Royce. I don't know. But we got enough people to already be affected, and here we are with ambitions to affect it that probably would wear out once you start getting the bread to make a difference. Hey, Rasan. Oh, well, real quick. Rasan, we going to do, let's do 6 p.m. Let's do 6 p.m. Pacific time. If that's 9 p.m. your time, if that works for you, let me know. 6 p.m. Pacific time. We got my man Rasan coming on who's showing us he's made some establishments in Africa and had a trip where he was buying diamonds and want to tell us how the Hebrew Israelites helped out with that. And so that's something I want to learn about too, because my little minimum efforts of just hiring somebody from the Congo, that made me feel good, and it probably helped her life, but that's not so big of an effort.
Hey, fellas, I got to drop off real quick. I'll be back.
Well, thanks for tapping in.
All right, appreciate it.
So maybe people say I'm wrong for thinking that the things that we probably haven't pursued are just the traditional means of acquiring funding to even put behind your political motivations or whatever your motivations are. Mines are community beautification, you know what I'm saying, renovation, you know, self-reparations. Like, ain't nobody with hella millions really tripping. You get your reparations when they come, but let's just get these M's real quick.
Some kind of way, man. Some kind of way. This is how I done put it together, right? So like I hear the people when they say, what are we going to replace it with? And I don't think that we understand, I don't know if we giving that comment the weight that it properly deserves, right? So like you can possibly write it off and say we've become, you know, dependent on some of these systems, or we are relying on some of these systems, or that we can be more proactive in certain areas, or you can maybe be more sympathetic to what they're saying and say that maybe there actually is a mechanism within us that does appreciate having this system prioritized for us in a way that we can understand. Like that might actually be something inside of that statement that really does speak to the inner voice, right? Like I'm getting a little pseudo here, but they are asking for it to be structured in a way that they understand, right? So if they've been spending their entire time symbolizing things, right? They get in a car accident, it was God did it, or you know, that's God telling them don't go to that store. Or so if they've been thinking like this for 30, 40, 50 plus years, how do you then just instantly change to a rational solution? You know, you get what I'm saying? Like to make such a drastic change in the thought process is maybe that's, you know, impossible, right? You've this mechanism is what you've used to compare things with forever, right? Like things make sense in that sort of capacity. It doesn't make sense to me, but if you're saying it makes sense to you in that sort of way, then maybe I might need to be, you know, a little bit more attentive to what you mean when you say that. So I say something silly, you know, here and there, but it's really not that silly, right? An economic cult does seem to be, you know, actually not a bad idea. Now, what I mean by an economic cult is maybe, you know, how you actually get on here and make it entertaining to go about the process of this. This is how you start your LLC, right? This is how you begin expanding in that sort of a way. And I think that curriculum right there really is, you know, like that's where Jordan should be at in our agenda. You know what I'm saying? Our daily agenda. Like it should be along the lines of that kind of importance, right? But we don't have a mechanism that symbolizes is that important, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really sure if I brought that home well, but
No, I hear you.
that seems to be something in that, to where we don't have a subconscious funnel. You know what I'm saying? Like how I said there's a subconscious funnel to us having a military, there's a subconscious funnel to us going out and having some land and farming. We don't have that subconscious funnel in that direction.
Yeah, economic code is definitely just a business to me, like I said, and they just don't. So let's see what happened when Chick-fil-A finally get mad. Then you find out they really is an economic code, because they say, what? we ain't doing this, and they take some political stance, but you thought you was just buying chicken. You see what I'm saying? But now you find out, I was giving my money.
That, yeah, they actually are pushing their agendas behind closed doors.
Exactly. Let's get with the program and stop being doofuses and just get with it. And so really qualifying is number one. How you gonna develop some land if you don't qualify? You're gonna have to get some money. Well, people gonna say, well, when you qualify, you're beholden to the people who loaned you the money. That ain't how that works. Especially if you economic, dude. You got a contract that's a standard contract. Your contract ain't gonna be no different. If you default, everybody default, get their stuff taken. And so they always have to come figure out different ways to get these people out that they want to get out, because if they could make the money to maintain their payments, ain't nothing they could do. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just us. We thinking like, come on, man. Chinatown ain't got kicked up out of there.
Approach. It's definitely our approach. It's 110% our approach. See, like you saying that we're not trying to do that under the umbrella of Black Power, but I'm disagreeing. Like I think that the whole we have to do it for Black Power it's not enough. At this point, you know, I'm convinced that just Black Power alone is just not enough. It's not a powerful enough idea that leads us into the benefits of being more economical about what our decisions are, right? Like, man, you know what I'm saying?
Man, to me, Black Power is Black economic power. All right? And because look at this. This dude named Elon Musk just thought about electric cars. Now he could fly to outer space. He ain't got to call that white power. He just simply sit there and say, bruh, or whatever he is, no disrespect to him. He just say, bruh, I thought of something, and now I open up another LLC, our company, because he bigger than being an LLC, and we literally flying to outer space because we got high technology. So he focused on technology, pushing the world forward, pushing his people forward, and whatever his political motivations is, they come out on the back burner. He went to go buy Twitter to help Trump get a voice again. So we see what it is, but we understand we in an economic game, dog. Like people tripping. So when people got that, capitalism, man, get away from me. You just let me know you ain't got, it ain't popping for you. That's what you really saying, so to speak. How could you be so against that? Now, I'm not. I told you my ultimate theory is some form of socialism. I think the societies that thrived the longest they looked out for everybody kind of equally. That wasn't saying that a person who started balling in that system got his goods taken away from him, but it's more or less saying that like you just ain't gonna have no homeless too much in the socialist system. So yeah, Elon, the founder of PayPal, then he sold it, then he did Tesla. Come on, man. So he just did that off the internet. So he flew to outer space off of having a website. It was called PayPal. So we think any other ways of getting out of here is rooted in anything other than economics. If you think it's in like having heck of guns, come on, man, you're never going to buy that many guns. You don't even have that much money for that many guns. It's retarded. But anyway, I done did this ramble for long enough. We over 3 hours, and it was a good one. I'm about to probably chill, kick back, play some games, and listen to some other people's. I really wish I would really love to keep on having just discussions about this. I'm always am talking about how to use them banks, man. Check this out. The bank been taking your money forever. You scared to qualify? Please. So now I'm like, man, I need to just go get some homeless people, right, with some socials and clean up their credit and just bring them back. I could do it. Like I could just go say, okay, all you got to do is pay attention to their details and make it right for them. Man, so now you said something earlier about a credit union. Well, that's probably something, but you put me into, I'm about to talk with Chat GPT, which is like my new R2D2 assistant. And I'm going to have a conversation about how to establish a credit club. Not a credit union, but a credit club. Where first you can just make this website. It's kind of genius. And I don't care about putting out certain ideas. Certain ideas I hoard, and I know they're only, but just think about this. This is something that needs to be in the world. Just like they got these dating websites, they can have credit score websites for people who intending to hook up and do businesses or intending to do stuff. You see what I'm saying? So you put your business, you put your business ambitions instead of putting your dating ambitions, and then you put your profiles, and they start lining people up, or they have different levels of the club, and they verify you with a soft pull. You feel me? And they say, "Oh, you qualify for the 700 club. You qualify for the 800 club." Not really an investment group, because you got to have certain type of fund for that investment group. But this is matching up potential people who could go into business afterwards based on their potential credit profiles or their business histories or whatever we'll have them putting on the app. But that's some type of a credit club. That's dope.
That is the I gotta let you finish. I can't cut you
No,
off.
I'm done. Go ahead.
You sound like you was taking a breath, but like
No, go ahead.
So like let's say something like that was combined with some sort of a real basic curriculum of how to get started in whatever particular area, right? Like so how you like now you got something kind of crazy right there, right? It's marketable, it's beneficial. Something like that is. When they say, so what do you replace it with? That is what I think we should replace it with.
I know that's off the hook, because actually it'll eventually be invite only, or you could another person could recommend another person, or you could apply to sign up, and then we'll be looking over profiles like, oh, they need to get in there. We got 10 800s who just joined the credit club looking for other business partners with similar profiles like theirs. And so now the whole thing, as we work, the courses is instructions on how to make sure you get better and better. How to make sure, obviously, first, responsibility and accountability. Defaulting the system don't work for nobody, right? But if you've grown to an age where you now are responsible and you're not going to make none of those previous mistakes, then yeah, you shouldn't be penalized by those old mistakes from 7 years ago, 6 years ago, when you did something that you ain't gonna do no more. But even still, the categories of the club could be broke down by 50 points, 100 points, or whatever. It's definitely something to do, and it puts nobody at risk. It's the same soft pull. I don't got enough prowess to build that website. I probably could pay somebody to build it, but that's a good one. I definitely wouldn't try to be like, oh, look at this website. Nope. People don't mess with that. They just got to find the link through your marketing. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, let's not be confused. I put together
that's a good product right there.
I put together good people who've pulled money together for purposes that have not even all the way manifested. And it's to get money out to artists to fund their projects. Right now it's like 10 bands sitting in the pot, but the overall market capital, so the market capital of that project had went up to like 5 million at one point, and now it's sitting at about 140,000 with the crypto market looking bad. But nevertheless, that's a collective endeavor by people who want to help. You see what I'm saying? And so I don't look all the way negatively on it. I'm kind of like disappointed by the outcome of the people that we intended to help. They seem like they think it's something crooked about it. Well, why is it something crooked about it? You could just go Google the company. I'll do it right now. The company is based in Wyoming. The Bar Dow LLC is one of the most sound setups for that. But I'm not going to trip off that. It's just a learning process of seeing what people are actually willing to engage in. And normally people are willing to engage in things where they see some type of benefit initially. Like people want that quick gratification. People think if you're saying let's build something, that is something behind it.
But yeah, that's dope though, man. That's a I think that's a fantastic idea. That's a win-win for the person producing the product and the person receiving the product.
Yeah.
That's a fire one.
Yeah, right, son. I guess it would point people to business funding, but as you open up that website, that becomes some of the daily activities and the job of us who works at that site. Meaning, we have certain people who contact fintech companies, and we get in. This is just how I be. This is how I do. But we got certain people who contact the fintech companies, starting to get us relationships and with certain fintech companies, so that we can then say, look. We got this pool. We got a club of this many people who got this many scores. Now we want pre-approvals directly in our app. You know what I'm saying? So you see Credit Karma do that and these companies buy each other. This is a great idea. I mean, hey. So when you got ideas like this, I bet you this ain't the first one. There's one out there and it probably wouldn't be the last one. I'm looking to do that in a smaller extent. And what we do right now is just called an LLC. Just making sure the members, you can make sure the members of your LLC all got good credit. Y'all can start with intellectual property and bad credit scores, right? Because you ain't gonna ask to borrow at the beginning. But if y'all got if y'all have a product that's gonna sell, then y'all take some of the proceeds of the profit to make sure the first thing ain't just jacking off the profit. The first thing is raising everybody's profile. I mean, come on. And then you could really go to the lenders if you know lenders and stuff. Come on, go meet a lender. Everybody could know a lender or underwriter and be like, what I need to qualify. Come on now. But hey, we should start doing group activities like that. People, but what's the catch? What people do? Like, what's the scary part? So let's say, what's the most scary parts of investing together with people?
People's intentions, not knowing them, and people lie and
might get ripped off. Then, yeah, that's the biggest thing. So I guess learning how to have those insurances, and first of all, that's all paperwork. It all comes down to if you get ripped off by a person who don't got no assets. I ain't even tripping off getting ripped off like that. That don't prevent me from going into business because I understand paperwork. You get ripped off ultimately if you don't understand paperwork. The rip off don't never really happen like it happened in the hood. You see what I mean? In business, the rip off happened in the paperwork. So when I learned that is signing my first record deals. Everything they did to me was completely legal. But it was immoral. It was predatory. It was all of the things that are bad that you are, you know what I'm saying? But they didn't strong arm me. They didn't even Shanghai me in no way. They got me to agree to things legally that I shouldn't have agreed to. You see what I'm saying? And so the other part is, man, trust me, somebody got assets and y'all got paperwork. They got a system for that. So that's nothing. Just have them up, we right in court. They gonna want to settle before they have to stand in front of the judge. You know what I'm saying? And so I've been through those scenarios too, not the negative LLC scenarios, but getting into court because I own an LLC. And, you know, we did things right in those regards, too. If you do things right, dude, stuff don't backfire too much wrong. Anything could fail. Just keep that knowing that. But failure ain't a scam. Not delivering on your intent on what you selling is a scam. You see what I'm saying? Like, say, oh, if I sell you on something and I just laugh after we hang up the phone, like, he think I'm going to bring a new vacuum cleaner to his house? You know what I'm saying? And so essentially on that same phone call, the person who actually brings the vacuum cleaner to your house, the jargon wasn't different. One just did not intend to follow through on the business they sold you on. You know what I'm saying? So that's why people don't understand when they see a scammer. Because a scammer gonna have hella knowledge, bro. You hear me? Oh, what? I just heard something. You said something? Oh, I'm talking. Oh, You there?
Yeah, I'm listening. I didn't say nothing.
Oh yeah. I was just saying a scammer always got hella knowledge too. So don't actually over be impressed by the knowledge. The knowledge is gonna lead to something. Watch. You just gotta know where the strings lead. So that knowledge is leading to what? It's leading to your classes? Oh, okay. I see. Oh, it's leading to what? Oh, okay. But, and they normally misrepresent the knowledge or whatever that they trying to, whatever they trying to get you into. And if you know, they normally know more about it, so you can't really tell. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm just saying is, I ain't fooled by those nefarious people because they haven't stopped capitalism. They haven't stopped the world. It's hella thriving business. Even the boosters who walk into the stores don't get stores closed down. Unless you're in a thriving community where the boosters is hitting, like they couldn't even keep Walmart open in Oakland, California, bro. Think about that. They got a system to keep Walmart open in every city in America except Oakland. When they put it in Oakland, brand new smack dab Walmart, every employee was scamming the store. You know what I'm saying? To where Walmart couldn't even thrive. So now it's just a closed down brand new Walmart building in Oakland because apparently they scammed them that hard. But what my saying is the nefarious business that people do has not stopped American businesses from thriving. Now we got fraud protection. We got all of this other stuff. And so essentially being scared of getting ripped off in business, it'll happen more just normally just in life. You know what I'm saying? That's real. Now, if you can't spot a bad investment, you just can't spot a bad investment. That ain't necessarily a ripoff either. Some of these Bernie Madoffs. Did you hear about the girl who sold a fake company to Goldman Sachs or something for $125 million? White girl sells a fake company to one of these big old, she fooled their whole thing, making her company think she has some website with 4 million users, sold the company for $175 million. And they found out it was all fake. They got her for fraud. So is that worth it? Even the homies who sold dope that's dead. No disrespect. Love to them and they love to their life. But I always be like, damn, cuz you could have did a different route and still be right here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, the normal way got all the balling in it. Getting a check for hella G's from the IRS because you did your write-offs right. What's better than that? But whatever. So back on our goal, though. Somebody could click the link, keep the Zoom going. I ain't tripping. I set up my steering wheel because I ain't got nothing on my agenda. So if I ain't bumping my gums, I'll probably just start driving. You know what I'm saying?
No, we got it in today, man. We was talking about. I think that is the cult that we need, man. I mean, it's a dirty word that we done kind of turned it into, but we do need ideas that emphasize that kind of thought process, and we don't have them.
Cult ain't a dirty word. It's the root to cultivate and culture. Remember the cult of Christianity? It's just what some of the people confuse cult with occult too. A cult, OCCULT, has some negative connotation. Now, the reason why a nation deems a cult as a pejorative because a culture can take over your nation. You see what I mean? And so from the political propaganda view, you always gonna get that spin on a cult. But a company, that's what I understand, that the only allowed cultures that can thrive inside of a nation like this is based on economics. They don't want nothing else too much. They don't want you to be getting together with 1,000 people talking about nothing but getting your paper, or a religion that's already sanctioned by them. If you get together with 1,000 people and talk about a new religion, you a cult that could do something negative to this Christian nation. But when Christianity came out, it was the cult of Christianity. And so, yeah, these bad cults, they mix the occult with cult, and then they break laws of America. No matter what the law is. That's just their problem. So they not really a non-profit. Like, why the Hebrew Israelites are still out here? They a cult, but they went with a sanctioned religion by America. They had to take a designation. So what did they take? 501c3, nonprofit. You see, they still are a business is what people don't understand. And people probably don't know this about them. But they smart enough to get farther than the Kemet's because we ain't even got none of that.
Right. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're not stupid. In order to not get smashed on, they would have just Z-Yorked them. Right? But no, they like, no, we're a religious organization. We got a box to check. They give you boxes to check. If what you doing and ain't no box for it, it's probably illegal. You know what I'm saying? Just like that.
Right.
That's an easy way to know. Like, ain't no box for what we doing, cuz. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we outside the box, then we doing some illegal stuff.
Right.
But
yeah, that's actually a strong. That was a good breakdown. I didn't think about it like that. I'm calling it. I am specifically calling it a cult because I think that there actually is something in the ritualized and having it ritualized in some sort of a group activity. I think that there is something to that.
So
that makes it.
Everything is in the economic code. Even the rites of passage, we just call them promotions. The ritual is 9 to 5. I mean, let's just keep it a buck. Sitting at a desk. Because people take ritual out of the context of what it actually means, just a repeat action to get a desired right or result. So the right you want at the organizational code is to be promoted or you want to get earnings. You know what I'm saying? It's just, they didn't create nothing new. Like an organization coming back to really your body. I don't want to start talking metaphysically. But we know that the organization got the head of the organization. It got organs like your body. And if you go into military talk, they're going to start talking about your cells and stuff. But people don't understand it all the way. How this is really based on the cell in the organization. Now you got a mole. People don't understand all this shit coming from the human body. All right, then we don't understand business is based on that too, though. An organization is just an organ in your body working together for a certain purpose to a particular function. But I don't want to go too far with that because people don't like that type of talk. But it is reality. It's just how we don't understand what's set up around us. You know what I'm saying?
It initially sounds like censorship, but I can tell there's definitely some truth there. It sounds better. Yeah. It sounds better than censorship.
It's something behind it though. Yeah. So take it to Kimmy then. Why all their organizational buildings was set up like the human? Ipit Asut, literally laid out like the human body, and the holy of holies, the innermost chamber, being, you feel me, the heart of the organization, we should say. I don't know. People, I definitely don't do this, but it's really the truth. Go look at how Ipit Asut is laid out.
That's
and
deep.
You really gonna look at it and be like, dang, that ain't no metaphysical pseudo. It's really laid out like it got arms going this way. Whatever. We can look at it. I'm gonna just try to see if I can pull up an overhead of Ipit Asut right now.
They did all that without the topographical map or how what's the technology?
I know, that's what I'll be saying.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot. Well, we're going to the Encyclopedia Britannica, but let's see if we can see an overhead of it, and then I'll share the screen. So there's nothing wrong with being economic because we went through life with our political motivations at the forefront, and look where we at. Like, all right, let me see if I can say Karnak. Or is it Karnak? J-Mill gonna hit me like I messed it, but I stood up. Hold on. It ain't like no human body. Hold on.
Try to make it all physical and real and stuff.
I don't
man.
do that metaphysical mumbo jumbo. Why go beyond the physical? First, let's master the physical. I still got fat on my body. I could get rid of that and then start worrying about the metaphysical. I don't see no overhead or if I said I'm going to take everything I said back so y'all won't suit on me down. All right? That's how you take something back. Just that easy. Feel me? People don't know how to take nothing back. But yeah, so whether you just want to go get a house in real life, just like not in no black community, you still need, well, you could get a house. We could get houses right now. If you want a single, when I say you, I'm not talking to you, I'm just talking to the audience. You want a single family home, you could get a single family home with a 580 credit score. You're going to not have the best interest rate, but credit score ain't the biggest thing. We're talking about that. But even if you were one with ambitions just to acquire a single family home, we got to talk about credit scores and all of those things. Now, everybody do that stuff in private, especially the people who got it made. They don't even want to talk to nobody else because they don't want to help nobody. Because there's help you could do in communities too. But let me show you this. This is what dumb people don't even understand. This is how dumb we be. I'm going to Trade Lines. I'm going to Trade Line Supply Company. This is how dumb and stupid we are, yo. I mean, I don't, those words ain't so harsh to me. So if somebody like, it's a Sunday and they don't want me to hear me say we dumb and stupid, that ain't nothing. Dumb and stupid ain't a permanent thing. You could just make a bad action. But those words are both in the Bible. So I'm pulling up trade lines here. For people who don't know what trade lines are, we're going to talk about it just a little bit. I'm not recommending this site or nothing. I'm actually coming here to just give my little critiques. Here's a trade line from Chase Bank. A 21. Oh, man, hold on. What happened? It was a trade line from Chase Bank. What happened, man? Dang. A little ad popped up. Maybe I can reset the page. Now we're going to talk about what is a trade line? It's just a line of credit, bro. It's just a line of credit. There are different type of trade lines. You need to know the difference between the three because all are 3 or 4 because all underwriters know the difference. But we're going to talk about this because what I was talking about. A trade line is a line of credit, right? Now, when you get a line of credit, whenever you get a revolving line of credit, what they going to do? First of all, we're talking about revolving lines of credit, which is not an installment line of credit. A revolving line of credit go up and down like a roller coaster. You pay up and pay down. But watch how this comes into the game of everything we're talking about. This trade line right here is a Chase Bank trade line, one of the best trade lines. Oh my God, every time I come off of that happened. It went to a 8,500. Man, this website Boosie. Excuse me, hold up. This is a $8,500 trade line. It's date open 2021. First of all, if you know anything about trade lines, you don't want to pay them $299 for this. But everybody don't know that. So what a person will do is come to this website, click add to cart, and buy a trade line to be added to their credit. Now, what this is another person who clicked this button, sell trade lines. But this person got good credit. Let's keep in mind what's happening here so we can understand the game and see how, oh man, this is just an ill game. These people, if you click in this side, you got bad credit. Or not bad or fair, but you definitely got ambitions to raise your credit score.
Can they see the screen? I can't see the screen.
Well, they can see it, but I'm sorry, I didn't share it in the Zoom. Look, my bad. Let's see if you see it now. You see it now? Okay, cool. Now it says buy trade lines up here. You're not buying trade lines. If you, even me, I'm not buying trade lines, but I have purchased trade lines, and there's I don't know if the Netaroo did it for me or what, but 2 trade lines that I bought never fell off my account. Wonderful, right? So this was in a credit rebuild phase when I wanted to acquire things. I came to a site like this and I bought some old trade lines. But let's keep in mind, oh my gosh, let's keep in mind everything. I'm not losing track of what I'm talking about. I just need to explain to people first what these trade lines is. Now, these are what you call AU. If people in the credit game gonna call these AUs authorized users. Now, this is my point. The people who click buy trade lines is trying to pay people with good credit to add them to their credit profile as an authorized user. Now look at this. Here we have on a system people working together to the benefit of the people with good credit and the benefit of the people with bad credit. The benefit to the people with bad credit is a person with really good credit just added them as an authorized user to their credit card. So what's going to happen? Their credit score go through the roof. So now they could go apply for their own credit card almost close to the same limits when authorized users was working that much. As technology updates, now we in 2023, authorized users, underwriters ain't stupid, and authorized users ain't that strong no more. They still help boost your profile. But this is my point. The people who click sell trade lines got good credit and they making money. This is the money they making. Now we get to see. So what's happening here? What's really happening is a person came and clicked sell trade lines, because trade line supply don't got nothing. They're just like a YouTube. They're an intermediary with no content or no trade lines. So people with good credit come on here and post what they will make you an authorized user on their credit for to raise your credit score. All right. Now let's go back to the family structure, or let's just go back to anything. 9 out of 10 black households, the parents won't do this for the children. Am I lying? Or this process did not occur because, first of all, the elders didn't have the knowledge about credit to even put you in such a position. Now, you can say, I'm not talking about nobody in particular. I'm talking about generalizations. If we coming about the crack era, we coming up out of all of these stuffs, this was no place close to the focus. But nevertheless, people, and obviously, I'm not saying the color of these people. I'm just saying people affluent enough to know that even they can make money off having a good credit score is coming here and literally selling spots on authorized usership on their credit cards for cash money. All right. And so the older the card on here, the more it helps the person with bad credit. So now if you got a credit club, you can also reproduce this system because it's mutually beneficial to both parties, except each person who buys one of these, you don't know what they're going into the world to try to go get. You see what I'm saying? You definitely know that a person buying a trade line is about to make a purchase on something and he about to access a high line of credit. I mean, this is really a lead. So if you flip the system over and you incorporate what we know about real estate leads into this is a lead into people who are raising their credit to go make some type of acquisition of the sort, right? Because you only got 45 days before your trade line fall off. So if you flip the data around, we can use this data and pinpoint all of these people if they bought them from you. Like, for instance, if somebody come on here and buy a $25,000 trade line, it's sensible enough to put in our algorithm they're targeting some type of purchase over $25,000, and they want an underwriter to see that they're already responsible for that amount. You see what I'm saying? And so if you flip that data around, you target them people inside the app. Like, oh, what you about to do? We got a better juke. You just bought a $25,000 trade line. Are you about to acquire a house, a car, whatever you're about to acquire? Click this. Bow. You see what I'm saying? And so I don't know. It's just thinking about wiring up systems together. But I hope I didn't lose the ultimate focus of why I was condescending, because again, us, and not condescending on any one of us, I'm just saying that while my tone might have sounded a certain way is because we could just be doing this to help people out for the benefit of the community, and the person who's an authorized user on your card don't got no access to your credit. They can't do nothing. All they could do is reap the benefits of the good credit. You know what I'm saying? And so that was just something, but for a disclaimer, this authorized user game is mildewing, and underwriters seem to know, that ain't you. You just bought that trade line. Well, I'm gonna give you 30 stacks because you own your mama credit card. You see what I'm saying? And so what you need really now is primaries. But these are the discussions we'll have, and have everybody make a show. Oh, if we about to go step to a bank, first of all, we all need at least 100 stacks already looking that we manage it correctly. And we want LC, we gonna ask for well under what we already managing. Say we want to get $250,000. Well, let's already show that we each already is managing close to $250,000. You're not gonna hit it on the dot. But that's easy, that's that joke. But I don't want to go there no more. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah. A club that breaks down these resources. That's the joint.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna give more thought to that, because I mean, come on now, and it's all free too, right? Why would it be paid? Because we getting money out the system. So essentially, why you need to structure something like this to where some money need to go into it? That's that fake stuff. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got courses on making bread. I understand why they cost, because you need money compensation for your time. But if you got a system in your that's eventually going to extract the money and set up establishments that's going to run, what you need? Well, you need more people. That's why I wouldn't. So this could be set up like anybody could join. You can't even anybody join. Anybody could apply to join, and you get approved based on what level that you fall into the club on. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the people with the 800s in the 800 club got more advice for the people in the 600 club. You see what I'm saying? And so they going to have to be like, shut up. We don't even really need to hear what y'all. I mean, we need to hear from the people in front. But anyway, that's a good idea that should be expounded upon, and I'll be willing to talk more. But really, that's
for
just,
sure.
Yeah.
Look. I think I got you today in one sentence. We got into the economic stuff. I definitely would, I definitely won't be able to get some more into that. But for sure, it's been a good one, man. It sounds like we're trying to wind it down.
Yeah, well, it's people doing a lot of the aftermath of the debate videos today, and I'm missing out on some of them too. So I might go watch one of them, listen to it after I eat my lunch, come back, do some driving.
Did you hear the debate?
I didn't get to hear the debate. I was just watching to see how well it'll be executed this time. Okay, and it seems that people got their links afterwards or something. I want to help to get that all together, man. People could do live pay-per-view easy, and so we gotta. I want to pull one off to show how easy it could be.
The simple putting it together right here, right? So you actually told me something I didn't know, but it still doesn't take him out of this envelope right here, right? Mm-hmm. So you said that Mark was actually written up. Mark supposedly is written in Egypt, right?
Yeah, Saint Mark had went to Egypt and he spread the gospel south. Others went to different places. Paul wrote to the Galilee, or to the Galileans, and to Corinthia, or to the Corinthians.
This according to the biblical narrative.
Yep, they all supposedly went out to different sections of the world. But when Mark set out to Egypt, he didn't have his gospel written. He wrote it there. And this is where we get the Coptic church from, the Egyptian Coptic church being one of the oldest Christian churches.
Okay. So, what do you actually think of to Zariak making the argument that that the New Testament writers would not have had access to the stories?
Oh yeah, he messed that all up.
I
That's
mean, could he have been any more egregious? And he doesn't believe in the Bible by saying he
so.
doesn't believe in the Bible by saying
I think it's in the book of Acts. Who wrote? Luke wrote Acts. Whoever wrote Acts. It might be in Acts. Who was up under Paul? Luke. One of these dudes who was up under Paul. It might be Luke. I might be right. Said that Paul was actually accused by the Romans of being an Egyptian. So my question is, on what merits? Was he dressed like an Egyptian? You feel me? But you ain't just gonna say, "Hey, bro, you look like you are you an Egyptian?" They actually accused him of being an Egyptian who riled up the people against the Romans. Paul was accused of this. And so I'm saying he might have just looked Egyptian, but you can't say that a person who got accused of something was like, "What's an Egyptian? I don't know nothing about that." You know what I'm saying?
that. Yeah, and maybe I'm not giving any weight to he actually believes that these real people to the argument. So yeah, that okay. It sound like we in a similar pages. And if you could break it down a little bit more for me before we get off here, I'd appreciate that. But
About the
from what I could tell, that's he's basically saying that the Exodus, like he's almost like bypassing the Exodus, right? So if they had no access to it, they were never there, right? Like you get what I'm saying? Am I
well,
not being clear
well,
with what I'm saying?
well, yeah, he's messing that up because they definitely had time for transmission. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of people spent time in Egypt. A lot of things came from Egypt. They knew about Egypt. For instance, and just think about when the Assyrians wanted to hack Jerusalem or wanted to sack Jerusalem, right? Let's just think about this. They got word that Taharka, the king of Cush, was coming. How could they get that word but don't get no other words? You feel me? How could a people of Jerusalem and the Assyrian army get word? That means that the message traveled. See what I mean?
It traveled past Egypt to get all the way to the Levant.
Exactly. And that was just because a fight was happening. How did they even know the fight was happening?
Right.
So information could pass that quick to where some people all the way in Jerusalem was about to have a fight, and they got some boys outside their walls, and message comes that Taharka is on his way to help stop the fight. So all we analyzing is information flow. If you could show up before a rival army, you know what I'm saying, squashes a city, then the information could flow more easier than we thought between the people of Jerusalem and the people in even south more of Egypt. You know what I'm saying?
That's a strong point right there.
Yeah, he's just tripping. And, you know, we had letters going back and forth that show you at one point when we looked over the Nubians in Ugarit, which is right in the Levant, they told them to wait there till the other people got there. And so when we start thinking about those type of questions, like how long is the Pharaoh really literally asking you to wait? Because it seemed like if they coming from the Temple of Amun down in Thebes and you get a letter that tell you this letter gonna meet you first, but wait until the soldiers get there who is coming after this letter. Well, we know whoever brought the letter took the speediest means of transportation, but how long do we think that the Pharaoh was asking them to wait? Another 2 weeks? Or could they could probably even get there in a day or two? You see what I'm saying? And so what is making us assume that if you could traverse this much area that the information would be landlocked and would not be purveyed through the messengers who traveled through these areas? I don't get it.
Okay. Yeah, That's definitely one to think about right there.
That's why I wouldn't debate Tazaria. But Chris Harris, I'm pretty sure he body bagged him. So I'm gonna let you go, man. Thanks for making this a good one. I'm gonna get ready to close this down, go eat me some lunch, and come back and drive while I listen to some other people's live streams. But I'm going to continue the conversations about the stuff. I probably will open up a company that is geared on putting people together with good scores. But first, obviously, I don't want to be a low member in my own company. So that's why I'm working on my own profile so I can be like, wow, this is what the template is. Well, yeah, thanks for helping bring forth those ideas, and hopefully you want to work to stay attached to them. Because when we birth things like this, it's, it's in the air. Anyone could do it. You feel me?
Yep.
Word up. I'll holler at you soon. Peace. All right, let me see who's streaming so I can go watch their stream after I eat my lunch. Thanks for tapping in. Thanks for making it another good show. This is one I'll leave up. Is that Monday? Tomorrow at about 6 o'clock Pacific time, we're going to dealing with my man Rasan L. All right? Talking about them diamonds, how to get diamonds up out of Africa. Wonderful conversation. Or his experience.